Y'all start sending these mofos to jail. Somebody touch you, say something wrong to you at work, go up to HR, document it, right? HR is not your friend. Be careful. Document it, get a lawyer up, and sue them for some money. That's all they're going to put you, doing you down to. Oh, you just a gold digger. You just want money. You MFing right. Give it. You MFing right. That's all y'all care about is the money. Thank you. Right? Somebody literally does something. The police, you want to make a statement? I 100% do. When they call you crying and begging and pleading, when their mamas call you crying and begging and pleading, you're going to ruin his life. And the jury showed us, stop showing these people empathy. Stop showing them compassion. Stop showing them humanity. Stop being the MFing giving tree. Y'all saw the way that book ended. And if you don't, go look it up. It ended by the tree giving everything, even its own life, just to be happy that the little boy sat down on it and let him use them as a stump. Stop being the MFing. Playtime is over. They showed us the way to act. Move accordingly. There are laws. Get them early, hit them hard and often with all the police reports and legal cases and civil cases you can. And if you can, go and sit down with the federal government. Go and sit down with the federal government. Do everything in your power to make sure that you have done everything. So if you are ever in a position like this, you don't have to rely on trying to explain to 6 ignorant people while you are now coming back and literally called a liar because you chose to give humanity to someone that beat you like an animal. Literally, your boss talking grimy. They want to try to get a casting couch. They're saying if you could only go out for drinks, maybe they can discuss your promotion. Get that microphone. And have it in your chest like, what? What'd you say? What'd you say? Huh? You want to give me a promotion? I mean, what? And what I got to do? Where? At the convention? Huh? Literally, start documenting everything. Take away everything these mofos have. Ruin their lives. Ruin their careers. Ruin their families. Let the world see early and often what the consequences of their actions are. Let them see. Stop showing these people. They have put us on notice. They have put us on notice. Protect yourselves. That's all I'm saying.
Bitch was the problem. Fuck you talking about, my nigga. I got it. I got it. Bitch, what's the problem? Fuck you talking about? Nigga, I got them. Need I remind them? They must have forgotten. Fuck this bitch up from the top to the bottom. Kill them all till they decay and they rotten. Whip shit I can't pronounce, just know it's foreign. Spaceship outside and the fiber is carbon while making them sick again. Bitch, go ahead, vomit. Bitch, what's the problem? Fuck you talking about? Nigga, I got them. Me taking L's and talking so uncommon. They should hide they shit before my niggas rob them. You better off dead or probably playing possum and stay on the ground cause there's no better option than fuck up this bitch with another concoction. Clear out the block with a blast from the shotgun. Bitch, what's the problem? Fuck you talking about, my nigga? I got them. Clown niggas from miles away, we still spot them. And fuck around and end up on the milk carton. Nigga wondering who shot him. Grave located, don't pussy nigga garden. Pop niggas up, now watch out while my rock on my chopper brick up, now watch how they gon' cop 'em. My mop to click up on top of how I flop 'em. Get got in your gut no matter how I drop 'em. Plot against us, don't watch how we just stop 'em. What we supposed to do? Nigga from the bottom. Plant the money tree and get the money when it blossom. How the fuck is they gon' stop 'em? Clout thirsty niggas on the Grammy block 'em. Pull up and watch the way the bitches flock 'em. Flacco! Waka flacka! Most you niggas really caca. And get the pass at me my vodka. And bitch, you know I keep the chopper. And every single time I pop up. And Papa make the ratchet pop up. Papa make the ratchet pop up.
Think you niggas could fuck with my clique and say, oh no. How could he be better? Nigga could be never, oh no. Fuck the building, the promoter screaming out, oh no. Until they shut us down, they got every hood feeling like, oh no.
Bitch, what's the problem? Fuck you talking about? Nigga, I got them. Watch how I rock them and I sock them. Outer space rated how I Mr. Spock them. Then copy your plan and fuck it up like Saddam. Batmobile whipping.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you catch this replay Now, Tisa tells, oh, Tisa, pretty Tisa, inciting all the women to violence. The feminist movement is a social and political movement that advocates for the equality of the sexes, particularly focusing on women's rights and empowerment. It encompasses a range of social movements and ideologies aimed at achieving equal political, economic, personal, and social rights for all genders. Feminist movements have historically addressed issues such as women's suffrage, reproductive rights, workplace equality, and challenges to gender stereotypes. But here's the part that a lot of so-called feminists forget. Gender equality means the same things that you say about men also apply to women. Now, anybody thinking that Cassie Ventura is the victim and not the villain in the Diddy case, I mean, that telenovela, that civil lawsuit, it was the tell-all that she wanted. It was the tell-all that the world apparently needed. Let y'all tell it. But it didn't have enough source to get Diddy convicted. And now, Cassie is in a world of trouble. So tonight, me and my wonderful, wonderful husband, Mr. Cellular Cup, all right, we are about to really unpack some breaking news. If you guys haven't heard, Diddy's legal defense team is considering suing Miss Cassie Ventura. Can you believe it? ¿Qué te pasa? ¿Qué te claro? Claro que sí. Don't worry. Let me share you a thing or two so we can talk about it, all right? You ready?
And for those who are just coming in and for those who are just catching the replay, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Let me just open by saying this.
I'm sorry, you want to do your own opening arguments?
No. It's a very short thing I want to say. The Diddy lawsuit and Tisa Tale's comments about the trial of Diddy and Tisa's call to action for feminist actionables against men proves, one, that the true nature of women is transactional, and also, two, when it comes down to it, Diddy is and will be and was the victim in all of this. I would argue that men are the victims to females' transactional nature. But as we get into it, might piss a few people off. It'll be okay. You will be all right. But Tisa and other feminists like her, other delusional ass feminists like her, the women who have reptilian smooth brain, who kicks rocks with smooth socks. You're an idiot. But anywho, let me continue by just sitting here and being the wonderful husband that I am. Go ahead, baby. Hey, baby, how you doing?
You so stupid. Not smooth reptilian brain.
Yes. Women who are a part of the sisterhood, and also women who believe in every aspect of the feminist movement have reptilian smooth brains.
Oh, you said the sisterhood of the traveling coochie?
Yes, the sisterhood of the traveling coochie and the broken biscuit beaten box breakers.
Child, listen. I'm not playing with him, y'all. It's gonna be a long night. Buckle in, share it out. All right, so let's start here. Now you see this little thing over here in the corner. What that say?
It says Diddy's legal team considers suing Cassie to get 20 million back, which they should. If Diddy is a predator, Cassie is a predator by definition. The precedent has been set by the federal government and by the people that Diddy is a predator. If that is the logic and the precedent that is to be set and understood. Hey, Christopher J, I'm glad to know that you're back home, big dog. Appreciate you for letting us know. But if Diddy is a predator, so is Cassie. And we're going to get into that tonight. So let's go ahead, baby. You got it.
Child, I'm not playing no games with him. But now I want to, before we get off into Cassie's malarkey, girl, you opened up the door, didn't you? You gonna leave that door open, leave it. But before we get into that, let's talk about for a moment, shall we? What happened? What did the lawyers say? Let's listen to a little bit what Cassie lawyer had to say.
Yeah.
The reaction is that we're pleased that he's finally been held responsible for 2 federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. He still faces substantial jail time. Of course, we would have liked to have seen a conviction on the sex crimes in RICO, but we understand beyond a reasonable doubt is a high standard, and we're just pleased that he still faces substantial jail time. Faces up to 10 years on each. I'm not sure what the sentencing guidelines are given the various different things, but I'll leave that up to the government and the defense to argue. But I feel confident in saying he still faces substantial incarceration. How would you feel if he walks out on bail? That's up to the judge. I don't have a personal vested interest in this case. Whatever the appropriate thing to do under the law is what should be done. And at the end of the day, he needs to be sentenced pursuant to the guidelines and pursuant to what the law is. My understanding of that is that he faces significant incarceration.
Child, listen, my thing is this. I'm glad that is how he feels, because apparently his dance card is going to be full. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? According to TMZ, shout out to TMZ.
Shout out to TM motherfucking Z. And shout out to Cassie's lawyer as well. Hey, listen, Cassie's lawyer, I stand with you. Pursuant to the law, according to the legal precedent of what is stated in the statutes and what can be proven in court, Diddy indeed, absolutely, Alman, absolutely, he should have been quiet. But we're going to use the precedent that has been set before the people by a representation of the American judicial system. If Diddy should be held accountable for his actions, then so should Cassie. Let's get into the article, baby. Shout out to TMZ again.
Yes, shout out to TMZ. Okay, so let's read through, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, excuse me, 1 minute. I was doing so much things on my computer. Cassie and Diddy are sued. Male escort claims she gave him STD.
Oh, Lord. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Male escort said that Cassie gave him an STD. Was this is it recorded in the court documents where Cassie said that she gave oral and she had intercourse with men when she had sores in her mouth and on her body?
Yes, and alleged UTIs.
So she had open sores on her body, and she would call up these escorts and she would engage to coitus with these people, knowing that she had open wounds. Amazing. Let's continue.
Yes. Clayton Howard, one of the male escorts prosecutors say Diddy hired, is dragging Diddy and Cassie to court. He says Diddy gave him a sexually transmitted disease and got an abortion after he got her pregnant. Howard, who says he went by Dave when he was hired for freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie, makes the salacious claims in a new lawsuit obtained by TMZ. The escort claims he contracted an STD from having intercourse with Cassie. He says he impregnated her and she deleted the pregnancy without telling him. And he alleges she then continued to have unprotected intercourse with him. Howard is one of 7 male escorts federal prosecutors in Diddy's criminal case say were transported across state lines for the purpose of the tooting. Now, here's the gag and the drag, right? Here's the gag, here's the drag. You can't say that this wasn't a cum dumpster fire when Diddy has been convicted. He's going to leave that door open. Leave it. Because there's already a prosecution, which makes the charges valid. It makes the accusations very much valid. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand about S workers. S workers typically are tested very often. If you live in Vegas, you know that the 2N is legal there, and also mandatory testing for STIs and STDs. If you work in the industry, which is where Diddy and Cassie farmed a lot of their talent, in the industry, they make you get tested monthly. And this is why you usually see your favorite performers with the same talent, because they've been tested and they have a bond and a level of intimacy, no matter how nasty and depraved the acts are. So the only outside factors are Cassie and Diddy, who were hiring anybody and apparently having random freak-offs with anybody that would come to the stage, according to Mia, Jane Doe, and Cassie. According to them, Diddy, the monster, the horrible, horrible man, would go outside, pick up men off the streets. You remember, I believe it was Mia that said the one guy was funky and stinking, and Diddy wanted her to slob on that knob, and she was like, oh no, pew pew, he stinks. So they had no discernment. They never, not once during the whole Diddy trial, ever spoke about any screening or any testing for the participants of their freak-offs. And what was said quite repeatedly is that Cassie was the one like, hello, Joe, what you doing tonight? Come on through. Even Jane Doe and Mia, all of them better watch their back, because them male entertainers do have a legal right under the law to sue them, and they need to be protected with the same vigilance and dedication that all of the women in the world and some of the men had for Cassie as a victim, because they're victims too. Let's make America great again. Let's make men great again. Let's make it a safe space for men to talk about the sexual grape, the allegations, the inappropriate touching, the being hoodwinked and bamboozled by the dirty box, because they had intimacy unprotected. And guess what? So did the women. So everybody's on equal footing now. I don't want to see.
Absolutely. Let's not forget that when it comes down to the predatorial actions of the transactional woman, that this has been laid out before everyone in the world to take notes and learn from. In the music industry, in the movie industry, the entertainment industry, and the sports industry, hell, even the sports entertainment industry, even by influencers themselves coming on to their social media platforms. And while they have hundreds of thousands of people watching them and the replay value goes up, they get caught on a hot mic and candid camera and saying salacious things about men. And they are laying out the blueprint as to why it is that they are doing this. Their whole entire goal, just like Tisha Tales just said, absolutely, it's absolutely about the money. It's absolutely about the money. Do everything that you can to ruin their lives, ruin their families, ruin their image, and get that money. Go to the federal government. Tisha, you are a staunch representation of the feminist movement and what it is that you are vying for. You are vying for the destruction of men. You want to ruin them by ruining their families, ruining their image, and taking their money. And you're going to do so by means of the federal government. Now, for those who don't know who Clayton Howard is, it is a black man. He is a escort. He is a male escort. He is a whatever it is that you contract for him to do, that's what he is going to do. But here's the problem. If Cassie was not a willing participant and a victim, according to what the law has stated and what he has been found and guilty of, I'm talking about Diddy, if Cassie is a victim, then so are the escorts. Just like somebody was saying the other night, also they knew what they was getting into. They probably didn't know what they was getting into. But the same falls for the victims of Cassie, the predatorial person, the woman, the feministic, reptilian, smooth brain with the hard socks with the smooth rocks. Yes. Clayton Howard, a black man, is a victim of Cassie's sexual adventures. With the knowledge.
Objection.
Go ahead.
Objection. Now, as a black man, I expect my husband to focus on the fact that this is a black man. But as a woman, I'm going to say Tisa Tells is not a feminist at all. She's a pseudo-feminist, because true feminists understand that the fight is for everyone to be treated equal. Liberty and justice for all. These pseudo-feminists are, like my good brother, the angry man said, triple imposters. They're playing a role, they're playing a lane, they're trying to align themselves with women that are for equality for everyone. But in all actuality, they're self-serving. That's not what the feminism movement is, which is why I gave the definition at the beginning of the show.
Absolutely.
Now, yes.
Absolutely. But this is not just against black men either. I'm just focusing on the aspect of it because Diddy is a black man and Clayton Howard is a black man. But this affects all men, all people who are predatory like this, all women who are predatory like this. This is disgusting. Now, to bring the focus back on Cassie, Cassie's predatory behavior affected others who are indeed victims. And you're absolutely right. My apologies. Continue.
Yes, because Cassie is, in fact, a serial predator. And a lot of people have run around and saying that she was groomed and she was this and she was that and Jane was groomed and me was groomed and everybody was groomed and they just had to stay because Diddy had all this money. No, they didn't. Women that have self-respect, women that have a purpose, you can't pay them enough. I don't know 20 women that you could pay enough unless this is their proclivity, their fetish, they enjoy it, to take multiple eggplants repeatedly over and over and over again. Not just one night, if only for one night. We're talking about years and years of repeatedly taking multiple eggplants in succession. We're talking about urination and oral cavities. We're talking about being a proverbial cum dumpster and then scooping it out of your own box to rub it on somebody else's nannies. That is not victim. That is participation in fetish and lifestyle. And I know that may make the sisterhood of the traveling coochies want to come and fight me. But like I said on my show the other day, if you're a hoe, just say you a hoe. If you like multiple I'm not even going to call you a whore if you like multiple eggplants. But if you like multiple eggplants, just be honest with yourself and say that you like multiple eggplants. Most women's bodies are not built to take multiple eggplants. So there's that. Most women, most men, most normal people do not like to be defecated on. They don't like to be urinated on. And even if somebody gets stung with a jellyfish at the beach, you're hard pressed to have somebody to pee on them when their life is in danger. So picture it, if you would, Sicily, 1932, you sitting there on your knees, hands behind your back with your mouth open, becoming a toilet. That's a choice because you can always close your mouth.
Absolutely.
No one can make a woman suck an eggplant for nothing. You know why? Because women have teeth. And I'm telling you right now, as a woman, if you put your eggplant anywhere near my face and I don't want it, I'm going to bite you. I'm going to bite it off like Kobayashi. But let's get back to this lawsuit. So Dave claims he was hired for freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie starting in 2009, and he says that for more than 5 years, they trafficked him for the purposes of commercial intercourse, using him as entertainment to satisfy their intimate fetishes and personal ambitions. Howard claims that Diddy and Cassie derugged him, manipulated, and traumatized him while they themselves engaged in a toxic, domestically abusive relationship that often became violent. He says Cassie manipulated him into taking X and having unprotected intercourse. He says she would order him to touch himself for hours on end, resulting in tears, skin peeling, and scabbing to his eggplant. Now, all of y'all in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Coochie and some of the men, that's horrible. That's horrible. Making someone do that for hours and hours and hours on end is coercion. It's abuse. It's a crime. When my girl Sade said, is it a crime? When Jane Doe was talking about how Diddy would say, open your mouth, and he would put in a pill. That was distribution. So I expect that same energy for Cassie. Her encouraging Dave to take ecstasy like Diddy did to Jane Doe. Did the student learn from the master, or was Cassie the master all along? Like my baby been telling y'all for the longest time now. Before I throw our love away, please let me testify. You accuse me of please let me testify.
Listen, I told y'all, and I've been saying this forever as a joke, it would be nasty work. At the end of the trial, Cassie raises up her head with a smile on her face and says, it was me all along. And now the chickens have come home to roost. Tisha and all of the other feminists, you said, go after the money, get that head, get that bread, and leave. Ain't that that's the anthem, right? All right, cool.
Is it? I don't know that anthem, but we're going to take a look at this real quick, and then we're going to get back to the TMZ.
Sure, let's go.
Lawsuit. Now, oh, my bad, y'all. This is testimony. Well, not testimony. This is a news interview from a juror. How do you get peed on for 10 seconds, let alone 10? Oh, before I throw my love away.
We're looking at it from like,
maybe let me testify. Now, this is a juror, okay? Now, this is someone that's actually seen the footage. He saw the freak offs. He saw freak off after freak off.
Definitely riveting. And
I didn't say press play. What you doing? He saw freak off after freak off after freak off after freak off after freak off, because for 2 months, the better part of 2 months, only the last 6 days of Diddy's trial was any actual
it was definitely riveting. And
it's just okay. TikTok. You just said you want to let him play. My bad, y'all. TikTok said let him talk, so I'm gonna let him tell you what he saw from the freak offs. Hell.
What did you see on the videos? You know, the press wasn't able to see it in real time.
Yeah, showing some of the. Well, I mean, there was both the freak offs and hotel nights, as they were called, from both of them. But it was.
What did they show in those videos?
The defense and the prosecution showed different clips, so they were very selective. The prosecution was showing more, just Cassie just sitting around.
The defense showed that. Yeah. Just her sitting around, not engaging in sexual activity.
Yes.
The prosecution, when you had to have your headphones on, otherwise, what were you seeing then?
There was sexual activity, but I mean, it wasn't really.
Was it forced?
It didn't seem forced. It was actually like pretty tame.
Really?
Yeah. It was just a lot of rubbing oil and stuff on there. It wasn't anything too graphic.
So it was just rubbing oil. It wasn't nothing too graphic. Does that mean that y'all was tripping out for nothing when Diddy or when Armand was out there with the mall oil? Because apparently, down to what the juror said, it was just, little oil, okay, little rubbing, sensual touch. Oh my God, that's so disgusting. It's horrific. Sensual touch. You mean they were just rubbing on each other and lathering each other up with oil? Damn, maybe y'all don't got no intimacy. Let me tell you one thing you can take away from the Diddy trial that a lot of you dry, dusty, boring in the bedroom mofos could benefit from. Get you a container of Johnson and Johnson's. Pour it. Just if your man bullheaded, just take the oil at the top of his head, just squeeze it up, and then just rub them on down. A lot of you women need to rub some Johnson and Johnson on your thighs. You know what I'm saying? Rub it on the inside of your thighs. Rub it on the crack of your booty. Then hop up on there, reverse cowgirl, regular style, and see how easy you slide back and forth on something. You might make a baby. Hell, you might get married. Hell, you might be happy. Hell, you might make him happy. Hell, you might make him make some noises you ain't never heard before. But that ain't none of my business, though. I mean, his whole entire show, the whole entire catchphrase of his show has been more oil. So, yes, could it have been done better? Absolutely. It's baby oil, though. Honestly, I'm going to speak about that portion of it very transparently. People were upset that a black man, and I'm sorry, I have to call it how it is, got off, got found not guilty of a RICO charge. You know when that's happened in history? You ever heard of that happening before? I've never heard of the federal government losing a case of that. Oh, Young Thug. I'm sorry, Young Thug. See, the industry, they lawyers are doing the thing. The feds ain't making it stick. But he got away with RICO. He got away with the most heinous and nefarious crimes that the federal government was trying to throw at him. And they only got him on the weakest one, a charge that's not even usually used for civilians. It's used for pimps. So you're saying that he's a pimp? Shout out to 50. I don't know what you heard about me, but I bet you can't get $1 out of me. No Cadillac, no birds they see, because I'm a mother PIMP. Is that what Diddy is? Nah, he ain't no pimp because he was tricking off. Hell, he's still paying rent for Jane Doe to this day. Go ahead, babe, because I know I've been talking a lot.
All I can say is the Boondocks predicted this. The Boondocks predicted this. When they in the Boondocks episode, when they had R. Kelly on trial, and they was out there celebrating, they was out there protesting, they was in the courtroom twerking while R. Kelly had grabbed that microphone and he was singing and doing his thing. The Boondocks predicted this. They was outside the courtroom celebrating, happy. They was dancing, throwing of the oil. Okay, cool. The celebration of a convicted predator got you. But Cassie, let's get back to the meat and potatoes of why we're here.
Okay, so let's go.
Are just as much of a predator as Diddy is not only alleged, but now tried and convicted to be. So if Diddy has to register as a SO, a sex offender, guess what, Cassie? You should too. You definitely should too. Let's get back to the article. But the Boondocks predicted all of this. Shout out to the Boondocks.
Yes, okay. So Howard claims his dealings with Diddy and Cassie left him with physical and psychological injury, lost wages and benefits, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and emotional distress, as well as mental anguish, plus loss of enjoyment of life. I mean, if you are a physical performer in that industry, I can see how all of these things apply. Oh, child. He was not called as a witness, but was mentioned several times during the testimony in Diddy's trial. A federal agent testified about Clayton's stay at a Four Seasons and a flight from NYC to LA, all paid by Diddy. Diddy was acquitted on racketeering and intimate trafficking, but was found guilty of transporting escorts across state lines for the purpose of tooting. He was denied bail and remains in custody awaiting sentencing and is facing up to 20 years behind bars. I don't think he's going to get 20 years, but I tell you what, Cassie, girl, Cassie, girl. It's your time to shine. But I saw something today that made me giggle a little bit. Do you want to giggle with me?
Sure, let me giggle with you. And also, while we giggle, before you pull up, let me pull this up because this has not just been reported by TMZ. This is now being spread everywhere. Exclusive. Diddy Escort tells how Sean Combs abused ex Cassie Ventura and was forced into deletion after she got pregnant at a sex party. A freak-off partner of Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura was exclusively revealed to Radar Online that one of the marathon sessions with the rapper's then-girlfriend resulted in her pregnancy. Clayton Howard claimed Ventura decided to terminate the pregnancy without his input, something he called one of the worst memories from his time with her. Howard, who went by the name Dave during his time with the couple, worked for Combs for nearly a decade. He claimed his job was to have intercourse with Ventura as her husband, Combs, pleasured himself in the corner, aka a cuck. The former male escort said he always insisted on using protection for their encounters, but as he and Ventura became more comfortable and more romantic with each other, she decided to ditch the protection. In this explosive new book, Cassie, Victim or Co-Conspirator, Howard shared the moment Ventura told him about her decision to have a deletion. She told me that she had been pregnant and was sure it was my child. He claimed in his book, noting that he was regrettably in jail at the time on an unrelated parole violation. She started to cry and said she was sorry. She claimed that she hadn't wanted to do it. I had no choice but to forgive her. After his release, the two began having... Yes, ma'am.
So is that coercion?
That is indeed coercion. Yes. Go ahead, baby.
So since it's the money, he had no choice but to stay dealing with her because of the money. And then she cut off his other financial income because she burned him. So now he has the right to not only recoup for the damages that he lost, but potential exponential pain and suffering because he was a victim and he was traumatized by Cassie and Diddy.
Absolutely. After his release, the two began having intercourse for Combs' enjoyment again. And before long, Howard claimed Ventura insisted on not using protection. She still had... Yes, ma'am.
So Diddy was making her do it. But she was insisting on no protection. So the people that were coming to run through Cassie and all the other ones, we're just focused on Cassie right now. But all these men were running through her, and she insisted on being barebacked. So wait a minute now.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait a minute now.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
how does someone force you to have unprotected intimacy with someone that is trying to use protection?
Easy. This is the way. And I'm only using the words that I've heard when it came to Cassie and the other alleged victims of Diddy. It's because Diddy had power and he was very manipulative. So the same power and manipulation tactics that Diddy had, Cassie had. She was very intuitive with her manipulation. She was very insistent upon the increase in pleasure without the use of protection.
And the oil.
And the oil. Don't forget the oil. You can't forget the oil. You got to remember the oil is the key. She still had unprotected intercourse with me, and that was the strange part for me, Howard explained. I didn't want to have unprotected intercourse with her. I wanted to put protection on, but she insisted on it. She told me she was on birth. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me zoom in. She told me she was on birth control now, so we didn't have anything to worry about. So she lied?
No, because she's a victim.
So she lied about the use of birth control. Got it. According to Howard, Ventura seduced him until he gave in and began having unprotected intercourse with her once more. But when I left, I remember thinking to myself, for her to just get pregnant and be crying and saying it was so traumatic to go back and do this again, I lost a lot of respect for her. Howard said after that, he began to see Ventura in a different light. That's when I really started to look at her like maybe she was just a sleuth, he said. And I don't mean that with any disrespect, but the truth is the truth, and the truth shall set you free in Jesus' name. Hallelujah. Amen.
No, but all these people talk about slut culture, slut shaming, hoasis, cornucopia, and now it's impossible. No woman would ever want to do that. But all y'all, shout out to Amber Rose, y'all was slut walking it out. It's your body, your choice. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. I do what I want. I do what I want. My body, my choice. I do what I want. Until, according to Tisa Tells, it's time to get that money. So essentially, and I really don't have, it's no shade for Tisa Tells. Tisa, I'm just telling you what the words that are coming out of your mouth sound like. You sound like Ronnie from Players Club. You sound like you better use what you got to get what you want. That's how you're sounding. And if you're meaning to be an advocate and standing up for victims, there are better ways to advocate for SA victims. Be mindful of your surroundings. Stay away from people that are predatory in nature. Because the reality is you're hyping up a whole bunch of women for nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. If you're dealing with nothing behind dudes, because that's what y'all say, right? All these men ain't nothing. Even men tell you that only 1% of them have any money. Even, the GDP, Bureau of Labor Statistics, all that, they tell you nobody has no money. Everybody's living in poverty. So you putting yourself as a woman in a position where you can be assaulted, touched on, raped, or whatever, just so that you can have your phone in your titties. Remind you, she didn't say put on no glasses with a camera on it. She said put your phone in your titties. So you're bringing attention to a sensitive area. You're telling SA victims or potential SA victims to bring attention to sensitive areas. Y'all can go and get earrings that record, glasses that record, necklaces that record. If somebody is doing you something, if somebody's doing you harm or a disservice. But unless you work for a Fortune 500 company, if you work for a mom and pop, you ain't getting no money. If you're in the hood with Pookie and Ray Ray, you ain't getting no money. Hell, if you're walking around the suburbs and your Uncle Tim done touched you, you ain't getting no money from the family. See, I'm tired of these fake SA victim supporters, and I'm an advocate. Are you? Are you the same advocates, the same way y'all protected Diddy? Is that the same way you protect your little cousin that you see crying and cringing every time she come around a certain uncle, certain friends? Is that the same way you advocate for yourself?
Oh, because according to Tisa, what she's saying is if her niece come and say, Auntie Tisa, Uncle Jimmy was touching me. Girl, you better use your body to get what you want. Get him for his money. So what if he touch you? Get his money. So what if he put it in you? Get his money. So what if he rub it on you? Get his money. So what if he pee on you? Get his money. So what if he defecate on you? Get his money. So what if he beat you? Get his money. So what if he force you? Get his money. Tisa, do you understand the message? And yes, I'm going to replay the clip because I see we got some more people in the building that may have not seen the intro. But Tisa, you are charging up women to willingly offer themselves up as SA victims, all for the purpose of getting a man's money. Not only that, but to ruin him and to ruin his family and ruin his career. Yes, get that money, girl, and do it by means of the federal government. Thank you, Tisa, for telling us what this case was really about. Appreciate you.
I mean, and everybody that's so upset about Diddy not being prosecuted, about his rights not being violated, are y'all okay? Do you realize that this case had the potential to set a precedent and provide case law that could get you prosecuted for handing someone a Tylenol? Even though they took it, even though they asked you for it, distribution, if Diddy was found guilty. Oh, you were in a relationship with someone, you found someone interesting, you wanted to fly them across country because you wanted to spend time with them. Guess what? Now, transportation of tuition. Because guess what? Buying a meal can be considered paying for a vagina, paying for a hotel, because that's the parameters that they use for Diddy. He paid for a hotel, he paid for a flight. So that's transporting the tuitions. All you women that be on Instagram thirst trapping, you can technically be viewed as a toot. All you men that be on Instagram thirst trapping with all your baby oil, because a lot of y'all got Diddy oil that y'all be having on your thirst trap pictures, showing off your packages and stuff like that. If a woman says, oh, you know what? Let's spend some time together. I want to hang out. Transportation of the tuition. So before you get too happy, let's use critical thinking and really think about the potential after effects if this trial would have been affirmative. And let's really think about the applications in law to how this charge was actually put on Diddy. This is another reason, like, y'all are getting super amped up about the 20 years. I don't think that's going to happen, because the application of this charge versus what this charge actually is representative of is way far. They stretched, they bent over, they did yoga to make that fit. This is a crime literally used for people that are getting money off of transporting a human being to sell their body. He didn't sell anybody's body. He purchased the product.
Purchase the service. But let me ask this question, baby. If a woman is if a person is purposely distributing drugs to someone and then robbing them, is that against the law? According to the precedent that has been set in this case, is that against the law?
Yep.
Okay. Let me reintroduce everyone to a little something that y'all may have forgotten about. Y'all remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Is Cardi B a predator as well? Cardi B explains why she drugged and robbed a man. Cardi B has defended herself after a video resurfaced of her saying she drugged and robbed men who wanted to have intercourse with her while she worked as a dancer before finding fame. The rapper, hey, Dwayne, what's going on? The rapper faced criticism after the 3-year-old Instagram live video recirculated on social media. She wrote on Tuesday, whether or not they were poor choices at the time, I did what I had to do to survive. I never claimed to be perfect or come from a perfect world. Just because you are explaining your indifferences or your insecurities or the things that you have done in your past that was illegal, and you are now trying to backtrack those statements, if Diddy is a predator for manipulating people and drugging them, and Cassie is a predator for manipulating people and drugging them, then Cardi B, according to what Tisa Tales is saying and others are saying, you and others like you are a predator when it comes to using your body to get what you want and manipulating and putting people under the influence, like Sister Ashira says, it's distribution. Cardi B is just as guilty as Diddy. But anywho,
but she also did this while engaging as the same type of entertainers that Diddy is being charged with transporting. So is the federal government going to go after Cardi B? And I mean, not that I'm calling for the federal government to go after Cardi B, but to the feminists, Where was the outrage? She said she put Visine in someone's drink to take advantage of them and take the money.
Amazing.
Oh.
Let's continue.
So are men human beings? Are and then I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
So y'all be like, oh well, this stuff doesn't happen to men. Is it that it doesn't happen to men? Or is it that when men talk about this, y'all act like it ain't no big deal and it's okay because it's a woman that's doing it? But then you have fake outrage when these female teachers are having babies by their students. So you can understand the principle and the concept when a 28-year-old woman is taking advantage of a 12 and 13-year-old child. But that's the only context in which you understand that, as if women don't take advantage of men all the time. If your man is laying in the bed sleep and you're eating up eggplants and then he wakes up.
That was strange.
For playing the audio while I'm talking, that's kind of rude. Appreciate you.
Played on his own. I'm sorry.
I know, I'm just messing with you. But if he wakes up and your mouth, your vagina is on his body, on his sexual member, technically, you're raping him. He did not give you consent. So let's make the playing field all even. Unless there is explicit written and verbal consent recorded on film, everybody keep your hands to yourselves. Because what women like Tisa Tells are actually doing is you are opening the door. You're leaving the door wide open. And you're painting yourself into a corner because you better not ever, Tisa Tells, nobody better not ever hear you say anything against Dave. I don't want to hear you call him no BAN. I don't want to hear you saying he's weak. I don't want to hear you saying he knew what he got into. I don't want to hear you saying he's not a victim. I want to hear you championing for his rights just as hard as you were championing for Cassie's rights. Otherwise, you're going to reveal yourself as a malignant narcissist, a pseudo-feminist, and as an overall problem. See how you painted yourself into a corner? Now you have no choice but to be a champion for Dave.
Absolutely. Let's finish reading off this article. Then we're going to, baby, you want to play your clip first?
Yes. Cool. I almost forgot about that damn clip. Messing with you.
So he says, if a woman is so willing to have promiscuous intercourse with so many men without any thought or indication of getting pregnant or protection, that's just what she is. She's a loose woman. She is a sleuth. And maybe that's what Cassie is in her heart, a sleuth. Now, before we get any further, please make sure that if you are watching on whatever platform you're watching on, please share it out. Please like the show. Support if you want to. If you can, it is greatly appreciated by way of Cash App and or Super Chat and or gifting a membership. Let's read a comment before we get to our next clip. Ashira says, I mean, with all fairness, men walk around like we are the weaker humans, and there is no way a woman could overpower them. Maybe if men admitted they aren't as powerful, it would hit differently. Here's the thing, Ashira. I would argue this. If a woman must use her body and the use of drugs to overpower a man, which scientifically, naturally, men are stronger than women. Only when it comes to the physical aspect. When it comes to the spiritual and the mental, not every man, first of all, for me to acknowledge a man, I have to be presented with a man. Not every male is a man, and not every female is a woman. People are who people are. You have Cleopatra, who was a very dominant and a very powerful woman at the time when she was alive. You have women like Cardi B, who was a very powerful woman, but had to use drugs to overpower a man, and then she manipulated the situation to round. Hold on 1 second. And then you have women like Cassie, who also manipulated men with coercion and used drugs and her body to overpower these men with their desires and her lust. So men don't have to admit anything. People just need to come to the realization that you need to be held accountable for your actions. And that is the bottom line. Go ahead, baby.
So here's the thing that a lot of people fail to realize. Before Cleopatra, before Cardi B, before Joan of Arc, before Helen of Troy, and all of them, there was Delilah. So in Judges 16, you can find the story of Samson, a judge of Israel. He was known for great strength, and the power of his strength was his hair. And it didn't take physical strength to overpower him. It just took a silver tongue to get him to reveal his secrets.
That's all it took.
Women have always been the most deadly and powerful assassins throughout all of history. All of history. But, you know, I get the point and the sentiment, but the point still remains is, are men given a place to be vulnerable in society?
No.
That was a rhetorical. I know they're not.
Oh, I'm sorry, because that triggered the hell out of me. No, men aren't given a place to be vulnerable. Men are always supposed to be seen strong until it comes time for people to push a narrative. And when it comes down to it, when a man, if a woman walks into a police station, says that a thing happened to her, it's supposed to be the air is supposed to be sympathy for her. She's supposed to be believed, and that there should be an investigation. Someone should be held accountable. If a man walks into a police station and says that something happened to him at the hands of a woman, he will get laughed at, and that's just the truth of the matter. If a man says, "Oh, this thing was done to me," people will say, "Well, you should be happy that you got some." If a woman says this thing was done to me, then the error is that, oh, well, she deserves this. Well, if Cassie was allegedly victimized by Diddy, then what about the victims that she created as well?
She should be held accountable for each and every one.
Absolutely.
Ashira says, actually, before her, it was Tamar, Genesis 38. When men are vulnerable, their vulnerability is often manipulated against them. I know from experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Men don't even give men the space to be honest if we see how they treat each other. Child, listen, but this is the thing. How do I say this? I'm just going to say it bluntly. We live in a society full of posers and pretenders. So while I love Angry Man's Triple Imposter, everybody's an imposter. Most everybody you see on social media is not real. Their personalities are not real. If you meet up with them off of camera, what do people always say? Oh my God, they were so nice in real life. So everybody's fake and fraudulent on a digital world where you can be whoever and whatever it is that you want to be. And even in real life, people are living for the gram. They're living for digital media. They're living to sell you a dream and make you believe that you're less than, or that they're doing just better than you. They're going to say anything to you to make you feel okay. But the truth is, we live in a world where everybody's messed up. It just really kind of is what it is. But in this topic, since this is a topic that's ripping the Band-Aid off a lot of things, yes, some women are slowers. Some women are fetishized. Some women are in the lifestyle. Some women do like a gang of eggplants. So all the men that says, women could never, women are only meant to pair bond with one person and it destroys their whole entire personality if they pair bond with more than one man. Are you stupid or are you slow? Your mama pair bonded with more than one man because your daddy didn't stay with her. Come on now, let's have a reality check. For real. Let's stop having these fake ass conversations and let's start talking the real. Y'all don't know what your mamas was out there doing, but I'm telling you what, a lot of your mamas was out there doing the same thing that Cassie, Jane Doe, and me was doing. They just had a little more discretion and put a little more shade on it. Now in the advent of social media, everything's recorded, it's snapped, it's posted everywhere for everyone to see. They ain't have these technologies in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Sorry.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Anton Trigger for gifting One Cellulite Podcast membership. Appreciate you, big homie. Thank you for supporting the show. Y'all be like Anton, and do not let your chat peers outdo you. Make sure y'all support the show, baby. Let's get into your clip.
Yes, Les. Y'all now. Y'all want to laugh, right? Now, our good old friend, Dr. Umar Johnson, has decided to make an appearance and have an opinion on the Cassie and Diddy case. And did he do it? Yeah, he did.
That she was purely a victim is in denial. It's Loon, there's no way. I don't care how much grooming. You're not a child. You're a grown woman, and you mixed race on top of that. So you got a white parent. You feel? There's no way you're doing all of this if you don't want to.
Do you think that?
No way.
From a psychologist standpoint,
Not for a woman with a white parent.
what about the Stockholm syndrome thing that people are trying to?
Oh, that's very
parade
real.
around?
I believe that all of that bears some truth in this case, but cannot be completely explained by it. Here's the problem I had with the Cassie supporters, right? And I empathize with the sister as well because
Right.
Puffy did take advantage of her.
Yeah.
The problem I'm having, Loon, is I'm seeing people go out of their way and make excuses for her because she's not an all-black woman. If Cassie wasn't light-skinned and mixed race, do you really think she would be getting this type of sympathy from the black community?
Right.
Or
Say that, Umar. Even though I don't agree with you all the time and I don't like you, say that, Umar.
as I'm seeing people go out of their way and make excuses for her because she's not an all-black woman. If Cassie wasn't light-skinned and mixed race, do you really think she would be getting this type of sympathy from the black community?
Right.
Or
Absolutely
America
not.
at all. No.
Right.
It's because she was mixed race that people are coming to her aid. If this was Lizzo in this case, you feel me? She wouldn't get half the sympathy. She would be called a gold digger, and if you didn't want to be there, you could have left. You feel me? Yes.
I didn't think about
Black women don't give black women that type of support.
Well,
This is only happening because Cassie is mixed race.
Pause
Yeah.
that. Wait a minute. Pause that.
So from
Hold up. Hold up. Now, I usually don't agree with Umar, but Umar said the truth. Hold on. Give me solo for a second. Baby, I've been saying for the longest, the number one hater of women is other women. Scientifically proven, historically proven. But he is absolutely right. If Cassie was a dark-skinned sister, if Cassie was Lizzo, if Cassie was Halle Berry, not Halle Berry, because everybody got something for Halle Berry. Halle Berry. If Cassie was a dark-skinned woman, black woman,
if she was Lisa Leslie.
if she was Lisa Leslie, absolute, thank you, baby. If Cassie was Lisa Leslie, black women would not be stepping up in droves, showing up at the courthouse with a phone out, getting every second in detail. Tisa Tales would not be up doing live streams. Every woman on the planet would be called into question. Why are you not defending Lisa, but you are defending Cassie? Come on, Umar. Come on, Umar. I usually don't agree with you, but come on, Umar. Tell it like it is. Come on, push that button.
from a psychologist standpoint, can you explain even what Stockholm syndrome means to people?
Stockholm syndrome is when someone grooms you, dominates, destroys you to the point where they eliminate any imagination or memory of you being independent or wanting independence. You start to depend on them. You start to rely on them. They become your world, and you start to believe that you cannot exist without them, despite the fact that they are punishing you, manipulating you, and putting your life in danger.
So essentially, Diddy dressing her up, buying her nice clothes, taking her on trips, and giving her praise, even when they weren't together. She clearly can be independent of him. because she had a relationship with Kid Cudi. She had burner phones. She was sneaking around. She was involved with her now husband while she was with Diddy, and she was hoe hopping. Oh, I'm sorry. She was twisted up emotionally and was going back and forth between her husband and Diddy. So when she was with Kid Cudi didn't even know she was popping off on Diddy. He was like, "Oh, were you with him?" So she also was predatory in that situation as well. Now let me give you my take on it, because I really was quiet the whole Diddy trial. But see, the way Capricorn and Cassie had a little thing going on. I'm sorry, a friendship. But no, I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. In my very personal opinion, shout out to Anonymous T. I believe Cassie and Capricorn had something going on. I believe Cassie and Capricorn had something going on. And the fact that it was only female DNA on that Molotov cocktail, put a Molotov cocktail through your mama's house. See, that's not something that is on par for the violence, the alleged violence that Diddy was doing. Why would he throw a Molotov cocktail on a car? Apparently, Diddy likes to have a physical interactions and actually throw things at the people that are irritating him. Why would he sneak to do that? And then people say, well, he did this to women and he didn't do this to men. Diddy's had plenty of interactions with men, violent interactions. As a matter of fact, one of the major urban tales and conspiracy theories is he was behind Diddy. I mean, not Diddy, Biggie and Pac, right? So how do the same people that say he's responsible for Diddy and Pac then also say, well, he only has that energy for women? Are y'all stupid or are you slow?
BOFFUM, both of them.
I just want to know real quick. Now, again, y'all have control issues. A lot of people in this situation. Well, no, because she's a victim, because we say she's a victim. It's been very few. What TC? I mean, I said what I said and I mean it. I said what I said and I mean it. I mean it. I'm not holding back no more. Anybody that thought you've seen the raw, I keep telling y'all there's levels to this. It gets deeper and deeper. Which part? Type to me which part you want me to explain again, and I will. But nah, man. Y'all out here. Oh, the part about Diddy getting into it with Biggie and Tupac, and how if he's the one that's allegedly conspiracy theory responsible for Biggie and Tupac, you can't reasonably deduce that he don't have the same energy for men. This whole entire trial, I heard, well, he's only done this to women. Well, he's only done this to women. Maybe because I'm from Harlem and I know better. His hands are bisexual. Anybody could get them. They're rated E for everyone. So what are we talking about? And it's control, because the narrative is being pushed that if you're a free thinker, if you're a critical thinker, if you're looking at this situation through an unbiased lens, if you are actually weighing out all of the substance that you have gotten and gleaned from the information given to you, then Cassie is no victim. Because Cassie is the one that was making phone calls to get the toots, to the transportation of the toots. Because Diddy's rich. He didn't even plug his own phone in, honey. He couldn't even get himself a cup of water. So if he's guilty of transportation, who facilitated it? See, the feds could have gotten that RICO charge, but in order for them to get that RICO charge, they would have had to charge Cassie.
Absolutely. Say that. Say that. For them to get that RICO charge, they would have to also pin Cassie and the assistant as implications into that charge. That's how you get RICO. The only way you get RICO is proving and showing and proving that Cassie also played a part in the manipulation and also with the solicitation of these escorts. That is how you get RICO with Cassie. not by Diddy himself. It's with Cassie. Cassie would have got you the RICO charge.
Precisely.
Charge a woman though.
Right. Who gets RICO by their damn self? Never understood that. No, they couldn't. They couldn't. Okay, so let's have an honest legal discussion for a moment. Layman's terms. They couldn't build a strong enough case against Cassie, against KK, against anybody, because their defense would have been the power of Diddy. So in order to try to take away some of his power and maybe hit the protection, give them protection, they had to get their testimony. They couldn't compel their testimony. They had to subpoena them to testify. The only way to make somebody testify against someone else, if you have a good enough lawyer, is to negotiate immunity. I can't testify. The only way you get immunity is if your testimony is going to implicate you into a crime. That's why they, what's his name? Devontae Nash and Cassie was like, no, keep him in jail because we're in fear for our life. Cassie, girl, you in danger, girl, and not from Diddy. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. Diddy is very, very public and very, very visible right now. If Diddy sneezes wrong, it's a problem for him. If that man was to get out today or tomorrow and he throws a piece of paper on the ground, he's done for. He's going to be the next O.J. Simpson. Everything they're going to bring him to court for, any little thing they're going to bring him to court for, because they're pissed off that they did not get the charge that they wanted to make stick. The glove didn't fit, so they had to acquit. Diddy's done. I hope he really does have enough money that he has stashed away in order to live a happy retirement. This was his retirement party. But Cassie, you're a moron, and your lawyers set you up. Because now you have to deal with civil litigation, because immunity does not protect you from civil compensation. Now your lawyers are going to get the lion's share of your $20 million from Diddy, of your $10 million from the Intercontinental, and your victims, because, hey, newsflash, dum-dum, you sat on the stage, on the witness stand, which means what you said is part of legal record, as well as your civil lawsuit. You have literally detailed enough information for a civil lawsuit, several, at least 7, to be railed against you, especially when you sat up there and told of sores in your mouth, lesions, UTIs, tears in your vagina. No one, and I mean no one, let me tell you what your mama shouldn't have. I don't give a damn if you got a paper cut on your lip. Don't you have no sex? Not only because of what you may spread, but because what you are susceptible to. Your coochie itching, your pee is burning, you got a little discharge, you smell a little funky, take your behinds to the doctor, go get some treatment. You may have bacterial vaginosis, trichomonas vaginalis. Nobody's saying you have the ones that stay forever, but go get treatment for that. Because when you engage in sexual congress, having a sexually transmitted infection and sleeping with someone with intent to not disclose is a criminal offense. See, that immunity only protected her from the charges that they were charging Diddy for. That having sex with someone knowing you have an STD, that's a whole nother charge that wasn't talked about in the RICO.
Ooh-wee. Let's get into it. Shout out to, yes, please. Thank you, everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and support by way of Cash App and/or Super Chat. The Cash Apps is pinned at the top of the chat. Baby, I need to give you this so that you can pin this at the top of your chat. Oh, crap, it didn't.
No, Christopher J., it's not malpractice. It's prosecutorial misconduct. It's a snake oil salesman case. And that's why they lost, and they have an egg on their face. So they're going to try it. But the people that are saying 20 years, I also know that they're not paying attention to the legal analysis of this case.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecutor said they're going for 61 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know y'all can do math. Take 61 and divide it by 12. Baby, pull up a calculator and do it on screen so the people can know what 61 months equate to, because I'm not doing it with these kids. Go.
Let me get the Kookalator. Shout out to Almond Eyes 78 for gifting one Mind Chaos Brew membership. It is greatly appreciated of you. Let us go ahead and share the Kookalator.
Thank you, love. 61.
61
divided by 12.
Divide 12 equals
5 years and 8 months. Well, whatever. 5 years and 1 month. Whatever. You get the math. You understand the math is mathing. So the prosecutor is proffering up 5 years, and y'all think they're gonna push 20? They know they got a Hail Mary. The jury gave them a Hail Mary. Let's be honest.
Yep.
And they was going back and forth on that one. That's why you got the first 4 immediately. The jury was like, hell no, hell no, they ain't prove that shit. Did you see what the alternate jury said? They was just rubbing. They wasn't even doing nothing. So y'all thought it was salacious because you have vanilla, boring, laying on your back, missionary, face to face, probably just giving a pet kiss. So to you, it was like, oh my God, there's more than one person in the room. This has to be forced. This has to be coercion. Meanwhile, we don't want to talk about the threesomes, the menages, the London Bridges is falling down all over X, Cornhub, XNX, and everything else. That's like the highest rated videos that people watch. But let me mind my business, though. Most don't even serve time on Man Act. Get into it.
Absolutely. Jay, thank you. Almond says most don't serve time on Man Act, and J Triple O says he'll probably do 2 to 3. When it comes to federal time, you ain't doing all of that time. On good behavior and time served, he'll be out very soon. Now, baby, if you don't have anything else, let me go ahead and pull up. Can I pull up this clip right quick?
Sure.
All right, cool. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams with the clip.
He's realizing he got played for a fool as well, because she cheated on Alex with Diddy, but also cheated on Diddy with Alex. Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't know that. Yeah, she cheated on Ryan Leslie to get with Diddy. She cheated on Diddy to get with Kid Cudi. She cheated on Kid Cudi to get with Diddy. She cheated on Diddy to get with Alex Fine. And then she cheated on Alex Fine to get with Diddy. Let me tell you something. The men are the victims. The men are the victims. She was getting fucked by Diddy and FaceTime her now husband, Alex, nigga. Oh. Oh, you heard this right. Oh, you heard it right. This was in the court testimony. This was in the trial.
Absolutely. Cassie was using that box. That box was on the tour. You understand me? She used that box to get what she want. And when everybody was jumping out the sands and they was waving their panties and waving their bras in the air, says, go get your money. You cheated on everybody. You cheated on everybody. The men are the victims. The men are the victims. Just because of your insatiable lust for your sexual adventures, you put multiple people in danger. Because here, watch this, y'all. Let me flip the table for you right quick. If this was a man, and I don't need to say anything else, if Diddy was a woman and Cassie was a man, baby, let me ask you a question. What do you think the case would be about?
Oh my God, look at what he was doing. Look at this. Look at this. Blah, 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 blah. Stupid.
Now, because I don't need to stay on that too long, let us go ahead and get into the clip that we played at the very beginning of the show. And we are going to pause throughout this clip because we're going to have our own reactions to it as we get into it. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Let's go.
These mofos to jail. Somebody touch you, say something wrong to your work, go up to HR, document it.
Maybe anytime you need me to pause, just let me know.
Right? HR is not your friend. Be careful. Document it. Get a lawyer up, and sue them for some money. That's all they're going to put you down to. Oh, you just a gold digger. You just want money. You MFing right. Give it, give it, give it, give it, give it. You MFing right. That's all y'all care about is the money. Thank you. Right? Somebody literally
Pause. So you're telling women to document, but you're also telling them that HR is not their friend. So that would mean documenting through HR would be a non sequitur. So, ladies, here's how you actually document. How you document is you file an incident report, you file a police report, you send an email, a text message that you can timestamp with the metadata. You keep a journal. Like if you have an iPhone, use the notes pad because notes will keep dates and times of when you're making statements, or a handwritten journal where you put the date and time. If somebody leaves you a mark or a bruise on your body, you get like your phone with the screen or another device that will show the date and the time. You have that in the picture. You take a photograph so that not only is there metadata, there's other information to signify the date and the time of the image that you're capturing. You record, you can sit there and make video journals or record audio for yourself. But HR, in fact, is your friend. Most of us have jobs that have a anonymous reporting hotline. You are supposed to report to HR when someone is doing this to you. What it's giving to me is something happened to this young lady in the workplace and her complaint was denied. And if you go to HR and HR does not fulfill their responsibility, you escalate it to the Equal Opportunity Employment Office. You take it to the Department of Labor. That's how you properly document. But go ahead with this girl, man. Go ahead with this girl.
Something? The police, you want to make a statement? I 100% do. When they call you crying and begging and pleading, when their mamas call you crying and begging and pleading, you're going to ruin his life. And the jury showed us, stop showing these people empathy. Stop showing them compassion. Stop showing them humanity. Stop being the MF giving tree. Y'all saw the way that book ended. And if you don't, go look it up. It ended by the tree giving everything, even its own life, just to be happy that the little boy sat down on it and let him use them as a stump. Stop being the MF. Playtime is over.
Who hurt you? People are not being the given tree. Women are not being the given tree. The given tree. Women are not being the given tree. Men are not being the given tree. And there are men as well as women that are the given tree. I know a lot of men that gave everything for themselves. That's why they pass first, right? Usually from heart complications. So that wasn't a really good analogy. Who hurt you? Because the rhetoric that you're spewing is very toxic. And I'm going to be honest and frank with my opinion of Tisa Tells. You know, you said inside that you had inside information that that man was going to be found guilty. You said that. When wrong, instead of just saying, dang, my source was incorrect. I'm sorry, guys. I thought we had the inside scoop, but it turns out we were wrong. You resulted to slander and defamation and attacks because Ratchet TV actually said the truth. You lied. You said you had information that you didn't have. I get it. It's a public disgrace moment. But now you're crashing out and you're doubling down and you're inciting your audience of what is that, 609,000 subscribers to put themselves in a very precarious situation. Physically, men are stronger than women. I need a lot of women to stop forgetting that point. Not to say that one thing is okay or one thing is not okay. Just stay away from people that mean you harm. Don't think bad things are going to happen in life. Don't willingly put yourself in a situation where you have the potential to be physically harmed. See, anybody that's a true, let me take her off my screen for a minute. I'm disgusted by this chick. Anybody that's ever been actually essayed, actually had their panties ripped off their body, actually been forcefully penetrated, actually been grabbed, groped, manipulated, they're going to tell you to stay away. Stay away from people that will potentially do that to you. See, not for nothing. Victims of group activity and SA don't willingly participate. In fact, they're usually very uncomfortable to even share the same space as the opposite sex. It's that traumatic of an event. So that's why I feel like she's not a victim. She may have been a victim at one point, but like I said the other day, victims of SA go from one extreme to another. It's a spectrum. Either they're completely prudish or they have a complete lack of sexual inhibition. So what did Cassie have going on in her childhood that made her have this lack of sexual inhibition? Now, for those of you that are interested in going down that rabbit hole, I did a little dissertation on the intergenerational transmission of trauma. So on my website, don'tplaywithit.com. Y'all go read through that. Get a little deeper into some things. Right. Often violent reactions. Often don't touch me. Often you stand too close to them, they jump in. They're fidgety. They're uncomfortable. Child, especially with child. Go ahead, man. Play this girl clip, man. Play this girl clip.
They showed us the way to act. Move accordingly. There are laws. Get them early, hit them hard and often with all the police reports and legal cases and civil cases you can. And if you can, go and sit down with the federal government. Go and sit down with the federal government. Do everything in your power to make sure that you have done everything. So if you are ever in a position like this, you don't have to rely on trying to explain to 6 ignorant people while you are now coming back and getting.
Tisa, you were in the courtroom every flipping day. Ma'am, juries consist of 12 people, usually 2 alternates. So there are 14 people in a jury. The case is never about the prosecutor. It's never about the defense. It's always about the jurors. But this is how I know in this moment you're being reactive and you're crashing out. Because the level of cognitive dissonance that's being exhibited here is quite dangerous. You have the ocular proof. You have the mental capacity to understand. And yet you're talking about 6 people? What's going on here? But I get it. After being publicly eviscerated by Ratchet TV, you now have to make a stand. You have to prove that I am woman, hear me roar. And you out here down bad. Continue.
People while you are now coming back and literally called a liar because you chose to give humanity to someone that beat you like an animal. Literally, your boss talking grimy. They want to try to get a casting couch. They're saying if you could only go out for drinks, maybe they can discuss your promotion. Get that microphone. And have it in your chest like, what? What you
Pause.
Say? What you say?
So you wanted to put your breast in the camera while you're talking about SA. Now, let's be very real. Men tell other men, let's go out for drinks to discuss your promotion. That's not something that's gender specific. Let's meet on the golf course. What do you think you do when you're on the golf course? I know a lot of people don't play golf. It's kind of a dedicated sport that's really meant for relaxation, not actually meant for sportsmanship. But when you're on a golf course and you're in the caddy, whether you're playing the first 9 or the back 9, if you're doing the whole 18, what you're doing the whole entire time you're in the caddy is you're drinking beers, you're drinking whatever it is that you drink, taking shots of scotch or whatever else. There's alcohol involved. But you're telling women to put their phone in their titty. First of all, that's not even, what's up, Clue? That's not even a good place to be inconspicuous when you're recording someone. Because if you're recording someone being inappropriate with you, what you do want to be is inconspicuous so that you can get a true accounting of what is going on. Like, stop it right now. And as soon as you put your titties up in somebody's face, they already know you on nonsense, because if you're really there for business, you would be sitting back relaxing. And it's crazy because when you really break down the women that testified in Diddy's trial, right? All of them were women that were transactional, trading with their body parts. And they were upset at the outcomes that they got. Because Young Miami, she didn't have that outcome. Carisha, she didn't have that outcome, right? So there's that. If you're transactional, if you're trading with your body part, if you're putting your sex on display, and that's what you're leading with, whatever else is somebody supposed to tap into? That's just like men that lead with their wallets. If you're leading with your wallet, then don't be upset when all you find is gold diggers. Continue.
You want to give me a promotion? I mean, what? And what I got to do? Where? At the convention? Literally, start documenting everything. Take away everything these mofos have. Ruin their lives. Ruin their careers.
Damn,
ruin their...
You sound bitter. Ruin their lives. Ruin their careers. What the hell? What the helly? What the heliante? What are we talking about? You could just say no. You can just walk away. I'm very tired of women acting like they only have sex to sell in order to get a leg up, that they don't have autonomy to walk away from situations, people, places, and things that are an attack on their womanhood, on their femininity. They don't have self-esteem, self-respect, morality to say, hey, this is not enough. So instead of you telling women at the point that happens, leave, you're like, oh, no, girl. Keep getting all that information and then destroy them. Here's the gag and the drag. I had a situation where I could have took somebody up and through the legal system. But I had to come to a harsh reality. Is it really worth it in the end? Y'all are not healing. A lot of you women are not healing. A lot of you women are toxic as hell because of what you went through, especially women of color. Go to therapy. Get some Depakote. Get some lithium. Get a Valium. Take an Ativan. Take a nap. Talk about it. But don't just talk about the one instance that's triggering you to crash out to this capacity. Actually sit in and get into some deep therapy, like some dialectical behavior therapy, like some cognitive behavior training, okay? Get deep down into the roots, the root causes of what is causing you to espouse this level of toxicity and encourage other women to put themselves in danger. I'm tired of grifters sitting there with these big platforms spewing platitudes like they're here for the women's suffrage movement, like they're here for the empowerment of women. Yeah, sisters behave badly. Yeah, sisters do stupid ass shit. Yeah, sisters, it's your body, it's your choice. And what are y'all choosing? Choosing to put yourself in situations that are devastating and detrimental. and never learning a lesson because it's everybody else's fault and you're never looking at how you can protect yourself for the future. Money is not protection, it's a band-aid. Continue.
Ruin their lives, ruin their careers, ruin their families. Let the world see early and often what the consequences of their actions are. Let them see. Stop showing these people. They have put us on notice. They have put us on notice. Protect yourselves. That's all I'm saying.
What part of that is protection? What part of that is protection?
None of it. What Tisa was just telling a crowd of over 100,000 people is to subject yourself to other people's desires, all in the name of financial gain. If that is not the pinnacle definition of a transactional movement by way of using your body to gain resources, I don't know what is. And to watch all of the reactions, to watch all the people in the chat saying, preach, preach, tell it, yes, preach, yes. Remember Amber Rose and the Slut Walk? Remember all of these songs talking about how go get that head, get that bread, then leave. Remember all of these movements. Remember all of these panel visits on multiple podcasts. The mob. Exactly, Anton. And you wonder why men and women who actually have logical sense and a brain to say you are pushing, and yes, I'm going to say this, so it's a bit of a shock, you are pushing whole culture off of the means of gaining resources. Ashira says to take advantage of desires, but actually put yourself in danger to do that. This is why some women don't hang out with other women. Absolutely, Ashira. Absolutely. Not because we don't get along, but because they are dangerous. And Ashira, I would argue that the entirety of this case, which everyone says that Cassie was groomed, no. Cassie willingly participated in dangerous settings, all in the name of financial gain. Go ahead, baby.
If Cassie was groomed by KK. Cassie was groomed by Capricorn.
There you go.
So let's get into that. Let's unpack that because that video just really pissed me off, y'all. And you know, I don't really want to go in on this girl because you can tell she hurt.
You can.
I know I can, but I'm making a choice to not to. You see, T said that's what you call restraint, accountability, and protecting oneself. But at the end of the day, it was the women. Let's have a rip the band-aid off conversation. Capricorn told y'all what she told Cassie. You better get a burner, girl. You playing with Diddy. Not you better get out of here, girl. Not let me help you pack a bag so you can escape, girl. Just get a burner phone so you can do whatever it is that you want to do. Encouraging her to be a hoe because Capricorn knew that she was dealing with Cuddy. KK, knowing what the Astroglide, the baby oil, the red lights was all for, she perpetuated every single freak off. Hell, she was the money person. She was the front man. Let me pay for the flight. Here, let me move this money into your account. Oh, Diddy wilding out? I got him. I'm his handler. We don't want to get into handlers. I'm his handler. I'll fix it. I got it. Just go take a nap, honey. Here's some ice, girl. Go lay down. It was the women, because like how the prosecutor said, Diddy couldn't be bothered to wipe his own behind when he took a poop All he had to do was show up. Huh? You want to really talk about the truth of it all? The truth of it all is the jury was not stupid, and they listened to every single thing that was facilitated. And they were sitting there like, okay, well, if all this is going on, where the hell is KK? Why do these people have immunity? Why do you want me to charge Rico for one person? The prosecution and the feds couldn't even say, well, we are charging X, Y, and Z, whoop, 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 but we're charging them severally. Now I was like, well, this person has immunity. Get out of here with this stupid shit y'all been talking about on the social media in regards to these cases. And I'm sorry, a lot of people are going to be mad, but I'm about the legality of it all. The legality of it all is the charges did not stand on their face, evidenced by the prosecutors backpedaling and coochie popping when it was time to give jury instructions, which is why so many of you were confused, thinking that the charges were dropped, because the initial charges that they pressed against Diddy was not what they explained in the instructions to the jury. Getting to it. But everybody's so smart, everybody's so creative, everybody studied because they went to Google or ChatGPT or Grok or whatever AI tool it is that they use, and a lot of y'all got egg on your face. I will say this about Armand, no matter how much y'all feel, whatever y'all feel about him and the more oil at the courtroom, that is not a stupid man. He never pigeonholed himself onto one side or the other during this case. That last day, he did give his opinions on what he thought, but he still didn't pigeonhole himself on what he thought that the verdict would be. Because this is America, and people are innocent until they're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Except for now, when we get into civil court, the burden of proof is not that high, which is why Cassie took her telenovela to civil court and not to criminal court, because her legal counsel understood the assignment. They knew they didn't have a lot to stand on criminally. Civilly, they could peddle that bullshit and get some money, which is why they got the $20 million. Criminally, not so much. And now she's under the same lens that she tried to put Diddy under. But all of y'all know very well, be careful when you try to dig a hole for someone else. Dig one for yourself as well. Cassie, how you going to get up out of this? Go ahead, babe.
She can't, and she shouldn't, by the precedent that is set in this case. And I can't stress this enough, right? It irritates me that for years, people, men, very prominent men and very prominent women have been speaking about examples like this. And unfortunately, it took for the sacrificial lamb, which is Diddy, and his manipulative confidant, Cassie, for all of this to come to the light. But Cassie isn't the first, and she's not going to be the last unless the people change. See, we can sit up here and we can live stream for 12, 13, 14 hours, 2 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. Just talking about it is not doing it. This is why I don't like to call it a conversation. I call it a discussion, because in a discussion, we can actually come to a point of conclusion where now there is a precedent that is set where everyone should be able to understand the common knowledge of what we should be doing moving forward. Unfortunately, because of people's emotions and their own agendas, people want to change the scope of the whole entire setting. When it comes to this Cassie thing, people are going to have their feelings about it. The truth of the matter is that if you're going to call red red, then you have to also acknowledge that blue is blue. Cassie is just as much, if not more, of a predator than Diddy was, or is, or convicted to be. And if Diddy is a sexual offender, then so is Cassie. She is a sexual predator. She specifically targets men of value for her own pleasure. She solicits them for her own pleasure. She manipulates them for her own pleasure. She utilizes them for her own pleasure.
Here's the real question.
Go ahead.
Because when I listened to Flash's interview, Flash was like she was the one handling everything. So I wonder if, similar to the Shannon Sharp situation, is Cassie the one that got Diddy into the lifestyle?
Yes. Bad. Go ahead.
Is there any proof that Diddy was engaging in these freak offs before Cassie? See, what they say about money is money reveals your true nature. How many men want to have the experiences that Diddy was having? They just don't have the money to pull it off. This is evidence in society by how many men be begging for a threesome. They can't emotionally invest into one woman. They can't financially afford one woman, but they want to have two women in their bed. And the reality is a lot of people don't have the stamina for one person, but they're begging for two women in their bed. A lot of people are having a conversation about polygyny and polygamy. Is that not what Diddy was living out? The polygyny and polygamy fantasy? Are you really sure that's what you want to do? Can you afford to live out polygyny and polygamy? Are you sure? Can you afford the total cost? And I'm not just talking about the money in your bank account. I'm talking about the total cost. But that's a conversation that requires deeper introspection. A lot of people in regards to this case were speaking through the lens of their own pain, just like we just saw with Tisa Tells. But I want to address this comment. That's a good point, Raw. And women sometimes see each other as a safe space until you use your instincts. Men know how to use women to draw people in. Of course, the most recent, bit of evidence towards this is Ghislaine Maxwell in the Epstein case. Cassie is Puffy's Ghislaine. Get into it. But anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I'm kind of over it. That Tisa Tells thing that really pissed me smooth and clean off. And not because she's passionate, but because that was very vapid. That lacked substance. Girl, you have just spent a whole entire bunch of time trying to prove to the world and gaining credibility as a journalist with integrity until the verdict, of course. So now is the time for you to put your big girl panties on, not crash out. Now is the time for you to hone your skills. Now is the time for you to start doing extra research before you start speaking. Now is the time for you not to delve into your emotions. And I don't give a fuck if you're a woman. Those emotions you're showing right now, that's not it. You're showing emotions of a little girl. I'm going to need you to center yourself, queen. Adjust your crown and get your shit together. Because that was some sloppy, slovenly shit that you just put out there on social media. But maybe you did it for clicks and views and salaciousness. Who knows? Who knows? But everybody's entitled to have an off day. I do hope you do better than that moving forward, though. I won't be watching. But shout out to all the women that will. That you are influential over. See, this is the thing about when you become famous. This is the thing about when you start getting a whole bunch of numbers. This is the thing about when you get real big. You're an influencer. Be careful. Imagine if the advice that you're giving to women everywhere winds up getting a woman in a situation where she becomes severely hurt. Acid thrown on her face. Physical altercation. Well, Tisa Tells told me to do whoop, whoop, whoop. You could find yourself in a civil suit as well. Be careful.
Happy 4th to everybody. I appreciate everyone dropping by. I appreciate everyone liking the show. If you haven't already done so, whatever platform that you are on, please make sure that you are liking the omni We all know that niggas like to be graded on the curve. So
Niggas do not read. I cannot.
listen. Let me finish this right quick. Please make sure that you are liking and sharing and subscribing. TC says, are you dropping the link? Would y'all like for us to drop the link? Okay, we can drop the link. It's not a problem.
I'm going to get a beverage. Drop the link.
We don't have any more of the adult beverage, but we do have like the chaser. Yeah, we're out of the adult beverage. Sorry. Very sorry.
Whatever. Don't look to your left.
All right, y'all. As Raw goes and takes a quick break and she gets something to drink, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off. I'm going to catch me a huge look at something wonderful as it strolls past me. Appreciate you, Clue Studio, for dropping the $5 in support of the show. Thank you for supporting the show. For the link drop, we are going to go ahead and get the link ready. If you would like to, oh Lord Jesus, yes, God, oh God, yes. If you would like to join the panel, please be mindful of all of the. Damn, that ass is destructive. Come here. Please be mindful of all of the guidelines of YouTube and whatever platform that you are watching on. Also, make sure that you are getting your own super chat and or cash app. The links to both have been pinned at the top. I have went ahead and got me an eye full of some wonderful candy. So we are now dropping the link. As soon as I get the button right, there is the link. The link has been dropped. And we're going to go ahead and take one quick break while y'all get yourselves together, because apparently we are going to have a discussion now. So, let me give y'all a quick commercial. We will be right back.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the air. How could his hands do this?
Oh, someone get him out the air.
Here's Charlie Wilson.
Can I get to the sweet dance? Show me a way, 'cause I got bills to pay. Can I get to the dance? Sweet dance. Show me a way, 'cause I got bills to pay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everyone for sticking with us throughout our quick commercial break. As we get back to the yams, let me go ahead and welcome our first guest to the stage. Oh, okay, we got a little bit of a reverb. Do you have YouTube playing? TC, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, so are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reverb and an echo coming back through your phone.
What's that mean? A reverb?
It's okay. So I can only hear it when I'm saying something. So I'm going to mute while you ask your question.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it because you all did an excellent commentary. And I had a question, a very, very burning question. You know, society, male and females, double standards on both parts. Like men can do certain things women can't do. Women can do certain things men can't do. And I'm not talking about the physical. I think that, and I agree with Raw, because she said it earlier, you know, physically men are stronger, definitely. And for, you know, I know there are a lot of women who like, they want to beat up on men or think that they can stand up to all men, maybe one or two, but I don't agree with that. However, I definitely agree with you, King, on if this was another type of a lady, if it wasn't Cassie, this might have been a totally different situation. I'm glad that you all brought that to the attention. I do want to say this, that we live in a society of double standards, and society has allowed for, you know, women to get away with certain things, has allowed for men to get away with certain things. I think Cassie's just living in a situation where she thinks that she's getting away with some things. I think she thinks that she can continue. She's one of those who thinks that she can get away. She thinks that she can get away with things, maybe because in her past, in her life, she has been. I see something different though, and as I look at certain people in certain social media, I see people getting ready to slam blast these double standards. And I hear you too, like this is even. Like Cassie get called out on your stuff. Diddy get called out on his stuff. Folks around them get called out on your stuff. And so I guess the question is, what do you all think about? Do you think that we are breeding new human beings? Because it seems like to me these double standards are getting ready to be no longer. What are your thoughts?
Go ahead, baby.
I mean,
Hold on.
I'm
Hold
gonna
on
mute
one
you,
second.
TC. You got
So, yeah, because
feedback.
TC, it's a reverb on you. So we're going to mute you for right now, just while we answer your question, and then we're going to unmute you because as we're talking, we can like on the show we can hear ourselves echo. So that's the only reason that you're muted for right now while we answer your question. But baby, you go ahead first.
So this is the thing. When it comes to double standard, everybody that knows me knows I don't believe in them. Double standards are like race, are like prejudice, it's like anything else. People will blend and bend a narrative to get other people to acquiesce. At one point, women were thought to be witches. Everybody forgets about the Salem witch trials. Women were being burned at the stake just because somebody else said they were a witch. Knowing that measure of history, double standards are ridiculous. You can do any job you want to do. For some people, a job will be easier. For some people, a job will be harder. We live in a society where you can change your gender to another gender and then change back to your original gender because you feel like it. So if a man can be a woman and then be a man, if a woman can be a man and then be a woman, well, what is a double standard? Because according to the trend that is being said, everybody can do whatever they want to do. So when it comes to being sexually uninhibited, women have been just as equally sexually uninhibited as men since the beginning of time. Hell, look at Adam and Eve. Like, look at the woman at the well. The woman at the well had 5 husbands. Jesus said, don't stone her because she had 5 husbands. What about you? What you doing? The Bible tells you that women have a sexual nature. But men want to suppress it because men are territorial. But at the same time, they want to spill their seed all over the land because they said that God said, be fruitful and multiply. God only said, do that with your wife. Because it was literally only Adam and Eve when he said that. But, people have to start being honest with themselves, start getting real, stop trying to blame the other gender. Guess what, men? If you don't have a good woman, it's not because all women are horrible. It's because you have a psychological predilection to a certain archetype of personality and female, generally based upon whatever standards that your mother set for you, because that's your first attachment style is your mother. Women, if you cannot find a man, it's not because all men ain't shit. It's because you too have a predilection for the same type of men that your father was. The first person you ever fell in love with, if it wasn't your father because your father wasn't there and he was a piece of crap, that's what you're chasing your whole entire life. Now with Cassie is very intriguing. Now I did hear allegedly that there was something going on between her and her dad, but her daddy's Filipino. Her mom's not even full black. Her mom is African American, Mexican, and West Indian. So what were the conversations diminishing the value of people of color? Yet meanwhile, she wound up taking all the black penis all of her life. If that's not daddy issues, I don't know what is. Oh, she had a carefree lifestyle. Did she? Or did daddy touch her? I don't know. Baby, answer the question.
All right. So the first thing I want to tackle is the double standards, right? Christopher J says, are double standards acknowledged by the law? Because of the 14th Amendment, it's not. Everyone is supposed to be equal up under it's supposed to be equal protection for everyone of the laws, for everyone. And then you have also, I believe it's Article 5 or 8. It affirms that all are equal before the law. What happens is, in legal practice, double standards is applied because of human error. And what happens here is people are trying to paint or set a narrative or a precedence so that they can get a victory in the trial. There's also something that has to be acknowledged here when it comes to double standards. Typically, within the American judicial system, men are charged harsher than women when it comes to sexually related or offensive charges. You can look at the multitude of women who have been charged with rape of underage men, underage boys or girls, and you can see that they have received light to barely any sentence at all. You can see the same thing when you look at men who are charged with the same type, even though there have been some very small there have been some very small details within the case that may have changed the outcome or the perspective of the case. The charge is still the same. So it should be the same. Article 7. Thank you, baby. So it should be the same all the way across the board. So the double standard will have to go out the window. If Cassie was to get charged and the case would go the same exact way as it did, then Cassie should be found not guilty on racketeering. She should be found not guilty on everything that Diddy was found not guilty on. Cassie should be found not guilty on as well. When it comes to everything that he was found guilty on, Cassie should be found guilty on as well. But to acknowledge that double standards do indeed exist, we can look at what was the young lady's name? Huh?
I don't know, and I don't mean to cut you. I think that Cassie should be found guilty of distribution.
Absolutely, she should. Distribution of sexually transmitted diseases and of controlled substances. Well, I'm just being honest. The girl said on the stand. Am I tripping? Can everybody in the chat answer me this? Did the girl not say on the stand that she had intercourse with people and she exchanged bodily fluids with them and she had open sores? Is that not what she said? Is that not the highest risk of any to where sexually transmitted diseases can happen with open sores? Is that I don't have a medical degree here, but I know a little something. If while during intercourse and you have an open sore in your mouth, or you have an open sore on your penis, or you have an open sore in your vagina, you increase the risk of sexually transmitted diseases.
You do.
Even with protection. Protection only protects you from 99.7% of sexually transmitted diseases. So Cassie was putting people at risk and putting them in equal opportune positions to where they could catch a sexually transmitted diseases. Also, she was also putting men at risk of them being unwanted fathers. She was participating in intercourse and she was potentially bringing forth life without knowing who the father was. She was troping for single parentership. So absolutely. But because of double standards, what is the young lady's name that went to Russia and was put in jail for?
Brittany Griner, right?
Brittany Griner. Was it Griner or Griner? The WNBA girl. Are you saying the sores mean she had something? Good Lord. No, I'm not saying that the sores mean that she has something. But let me ask y'all in the chat, if you're getting ready to have intercourse with someone and the light is on and the panties and the boxers or drawers or free balling, you inspect the genital and you see an extra ball or you see an open sore, you inspect the vagina and you see a brown, gassy, green, liquidy, thick, coagulated discharge, are you going to have sex with that person? If you're getting ready to have oral with them and they have a bump bump on their lip, are you going to have intercourse with them? Because you run the risk, and we all know this, you run the risk of getting a sexually transmitted disease.
Listen, y'all. Let me tell you this real quick. Today I found out that y'all be talking about herpes 1 and 2. There's a herpes 3.
Yes. Go ahead, baby.
Herpes of the brain. Y'all be getting some head and giving some head. You gonna fuck around and catch herpes 3 on your brain, have to have a whole lobotomy.
Yes, you could get herpes. You can get herp derp in the brain. Imagine giving and or getting some head, and you get and or give herpes in the brain. That's probably why some of y'all act the way y'all do. But to get back to TC's question, because she's been on mute for a second. Brittany Reiner was charged with international federal drug crimes. She was put in jail. And because of her crimes that she committed, there was, and I'm going to call him he, because that's only my belief. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but I've heard Brandon Griner speak, and Brandon Griner sound like this. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it.
Anywho, Brandon Griner.
Brittany Griner's pronouns is she, her. Stop
Brittany Brandon Griner was afforded the opportunity to come home from committing a crime, and her freedom was traded for a literal war criminal. When there is an American Marine still over there. Double standards? Double standards? There are women who are in the penal system right now who have lighter sentences for doing harsher and more vile things to children. I want to reference one specific case. There was a case of a young lady who had intercourse with a 13-year-old boy at the time. She became pregnant. Her defense was that if she goes to jail, that baby would not have the protection it's needed to be able to sustain in life. Guess what they gave this girl? Nothing. And even in the court document, they said when that 13-year-old boy turns 18, he will have to pay child support. You took advantage of a 13-year-old boy, and you was not given no jail time, nothing. The only reason that you are free to this day is because you had a baby. Now, I asked about double standards. If that was a man, if Brittany was Brandon for real, if Allen Iverson went over to Russia and had a cartridge of THC on him, how fast is America going to bring him home? If LeBron James went over there. See, the problem, and TC, I really do like your question. The problem is that double standards should not exist, but because of people and their agendas and the narratives that they wish to push, if you have a penis and you are a swinging dick on the Congo, especially if you're black, you are a villain. But if you're a woman and you black, you're somewhat innocent. If you are light-skinned and you're a woman, you definitely innocent. That's the problem. The problem is the people. The problem is not the law. Enforcing the law is the problem because of the people. I'm going to bring you off mute, TC.
I agree. I do. We can probably have, when I get some sounds better, I want to be able to have a better conversation, but I totally agree. And my second question was, do you think Diddy is an alpha male?
Okay.
There is
Let me make sure that was the end of her question. That was the end of your question, right?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, baby.
there is no such thing as an alpha male. It's not. And so many men wrap themselves up in this ideology of something that doesn't exist. Like, Diddy is just a man. That's it. He's just a man. Most men are just men. Sometimes they're strong and they're leading the pack. See, even Christopher J's. Sometimes they're not and they're at the back of the pack. That's human nature. Sometimes we're sick. Sometimes we're weak. I think that Diddy is a money maker. I think that Diddy, to some degrees, was taken advantage of. I believe that Sean Diddy Combs was mentally unstable and unwell. I believe he was self-medicating. I believe that the whole team around him knew that he was self-medicating, and instead of encouraging him to get therapy, encouraging him to stay off drugs, they are also predatory in nature and implicit in everything going on with this man, because they enabled it for all this time because they were afraid to not get a paycheck. And from what Capricorn said about her salary, like, nigga, $60,000 a year, bless you, $60,000 a year, you were willing to let someone spiral out of control, potentially delete themselves for $60,000 a year? Go ahead.
All right. Baby, I love you. But I have to tell you, Christopher J, you can argue with me if you want to. There is absolutely a such thing as an alpha male. It is. There's also a such thing as a beta male. And there's absolutely a such thing as a sigma male. Just to give you a little brief. Betas are supportive and submissive to alphas. Alphas are jealous and fervently aggressive towards sigmas. Sigmas are introverted. That is like a small synopsis of like the hierarchy when it comes to the male aspect. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to someone like Diddy, Diddy presented himself as a sigma male, but he, in all actuality, was a alpha male. The only reason that Diddy was a alpha male is because he had the characteristics or the traits which made him a alpha male, such as charismatic, yes, extroverted, yes, assertive, yes, competitive, yes, dominant, yes. I knew Christopher J was gonna come up. What's going on, bro?
I just got back from the Bronx and the DMV, and you got me all grilled. Why?
Yeah, you'll be okay. Let me finish right quick. In the role of society, alpha males are leaders of packs, often admired and followed by others. And also, they are seen as highly attractive by women due to confidence and status. In the dating world, they're seen as highly attractive, but their weakness is their aggressiveness, is their arrogance, and they rely too much on external validation. With what I've given you, does that sound like Diddy or most projecting alpha males? This is anybody to answer. Sorry.
Absolutely not. Diddy is not an alpha male. He's more of a gamma male. First of all, there's an alpha, beta, gamma, omega, and a sigma male. And so I would say and classify him, because there's nothing cute about him, especially us in New York. We've seen him. There's nothing attractive about him. We were raised with him, and so we knew him before he was Sean. That's all. So he wasn't really attractive. He wasn't one of those that the women went for. He wasn't. He just was not. There are a couple of other people. I'm just gonna just name like somebody like a Johnny Sally. I went to school with him. He was the basketball high school whatever going to Georgia Tech, but when nobody cared about him, seriously, the girls didn't care about him. Not honestly, and I went to a white high school. Let me preface. So white women they pimp their women out quickly for that kind of stuff. But the white girls weren't going after them, and the sisters. There's only 20 of us. They weren't either. He was a jock and stupid, and that's what we looked at him as. Here's the thing. I would say, if I would say anything about Sean, I would say that maybe he's more gamma, more introspective and curious. But I also want to say this, that we're not talking about whole people. We're not talking about healthy people. They're very toxic, and all of the people around him, because they needed to create their own finances, they wanted to continue the toxicity, the unhealthy behavior, knowing that it wasn't correct, it wasn't right. And they did it for their own personal, for their own selfish reasons, for their own lazy tails. Okay.
But there is no such thing as an alpha male. There's no such thing as an alpha male.
I will make all the difference in the world. This is George. I promised you yet another.
Omni, are you listening to the radio?
Your radio.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You had a reverb.
Okay, my bad.
All
All right.
Go ahead. Play your video.
Shout out to Sell Your Service. Go over and subscribe.
Because there's no such thing as a alpha male or a sigma male, beta male, or omega male. It's a made up social construct. It's basically a way of making up a way of being able to rank people. And every single person who ever either refers to themselves as an alpha male or talks about this alpha male mentality has always got something to sell you, usually based on that made up hierarchical system. They always have a product to sell you to try and improve your standing, but it's a made up ranking system. It's a complete misinterpretation of pack animal mentality that has been disproven multiple times. But look at who's sprouting it. There's an agenda behind it and usually a product to sell. Be smarter. There's no such thing as an alpha male.
That's just one. I got another clip too, but I want to hear from Christopher J. and then Omni. Go ahead, Christopher J. Get him.
I can't believe I'm about to be up here swinging by myself. All right, cool. No problem. Go ahead, Christopher J.
He ultimately said the same thing I said because it was based off of the book, The Wolf. I forgot what year it came out. It was the idea that there's a alpha leader in the pack of wolves, but that's in a contained in a closed environment, a zoo to be exact. And once the person did his research, he sold the book, and it obviously it sold. Everybody adopted that, the idea of being a alpha wolf, and they say, you know what? If that's an alpha wolf, I'm an alpha male because I do A, B, C, and D. And then the scientists decided to go to the actual wild and realize, oh shit, there is no alpha wolf. They just move in a pack. So he did do his due diligence to put a book out to recant everything he said, but by then it was too late. The alpha male thing already went. So what came from alpha male? A beta male, sigma male. I just heard gamma male. Don't know what that is. Fine, whatever. But this is fruit from the poisonous tree. False study to be exact. So when I say there's no such thing as an alpha male, it's because everybody has coined that term from a false research. Now, with the definitions that I'm hearing of what you think an alpha is, what you think a beta is, what a gamma is, what a sigma is, you have to divorce it from the poisonous tree that this research proves that there's no such thing as an alpha wolf. If there's no such thing as an alpha wolf, there's no such thing as an alpha male.
Exactly, because the person that he's talking about is L. David Meck. And his original wolf theories that he observed in 1970, he later clarified that he debunked because wolves, in fact, behave in a familiar structure. But go ahead, Omni, and then I'm going to let you eat for a minute, and then I'm going to show you another video.
Oh no! Listen, y'all ain't about to eat before I eat. Hell no, no. Listen, y'all go ahead, eat y'all little bits of chicken, but I still got the big piece of chicken on the table. Go ahead,
Go ahead. Actually, Chris was gonna say everything that I said. All I know is I'm fresh off of work. I'm about to play Mega Break, so I'm better than all of y'all.
I know that's right. Go ahead.
I will be playing Mega Break when we get off this show.
No, you're not. You're not playing Mega Break when you get off of this.
Listen, I'm gonna be breaking something. If it's not the game, it's you. But anywho, listen. So, is the hierarchical system a social construct? Absolutely. But in a world where, in a world of psychological study and cognitive dissonance, there is actually a hierarchical structure that people recognize and even to some degree acknowledge. There is a such thing as a alpha male. We see them all the time. I can use this reference that I use all the time, which is that the alpha male is the dude with the number 2 headband. And there are numbers of men who have the number 2 head. Baby, we'll watch Afro Samurai so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. All of these dudes who want to be the number 1 man, they want to be known as that nigga. They want to be known as the highest man, the one above all. And if you don't know the Marvel reference, then you'll understand it eventually. All of these dudes are competing for that one spot. These dudes who are competing for that one spot are battling against one themselves and 2 other men to compete and to try to show exposure of the other alpha males and also of the sigma male. The problem is the sigma male does not care about the alpha male. He does not acknowledge the existence of their approach towards him because 1, he is introverted, 2, he is focused on something that is way bigger than even the headband that they established upon him. The sigma male does not even look at his position and say, I'm better than y'all. I am focused on being better than who I was before. Sigma men do not they don't look at the world and try to exist within the world. They look at themselves and they grow within themselves. Alpha males are trying to exist within the world that they are trying to dominate in the world that they exist in, only because they are living off of the calamity, which is the love and the fake love, the support that they're getting from the beta males and from the women who actually want the sigma men, but they can only settle for the alpha man. That's what's happening. And when I get back to explaining how it is that this absolutely does exist, you can just look out just look out in the earth or look out on social media and you see that there's a clear distinction of the categorized or the classified male. It happens all the time. Go ahead.
The alpha male myth debunked. Franz de Waal. Look him up.
Hold on, TC was trying to say something. She came over.
Go ahead, TC.
I was gonna say that I don't agree with any of these white men because they are probably not even on in any level on any spectrum. But I want to hear what this dude has to say, and then I'm gonna crucify him. Go ahead.
Alpha male for me is not a negative term. People always think the alpha male is a sort of personality. No, the alpha male is just the top male, and he can be a very nice guy or he can be a very nasty guy. That is actually irrelevant. If he's at the top, he's the alpha male. And I think people overestimate male dominance, mainly because they think purely in physical terms, but primate societies are political systems, and physical power is only one part of the whole equation. People don't realize that the alpha male chimpanzees, for example, you have to have supporters. You cannot do that on your own. It means that a high-ranking female can have an enormous amount of power, because if she can rally all the other females behind a certain male, She has all the power there. And then in addition, you have bonobos who are very close to us too, equally close as the chimpanzee, where the alpha individual is a female. And most of these differences between the sexes are actually smaller than we think. We sort of, in our mind, we blow them up, but they're actually, if you measure them, they're not so great. Robert Martin is an anthropologist who said that the difference between the sexes is a bimodal difference.
That's gonna take you down a rabbit hole. I'm not really gonna let y'all get that deep into the psyche of the shit that I be into. But I think she was trying to do damage control by coming out with her lawsuit before the raid and Diddy's ultimate arrest. She knew she was going to come up heavily in this case because she participated. Exactly, Ziana. But this is the thing. She was the catalyst for the federal lawsuit. The feds are trying to cover their behinds and make themselves look good in the Diddy case. The reality is the execution of their case shows a lack of preparation, which is unprecedented in a federal case. The federal government has like a 98% conviction rate for all the charges they are going for. They weren't prepared for this because they didn't build up a case. Federal cases usually take a bit of time to build them up. But TC, go ahead and respond to Francis the Wall.
So this is, I know, let me just say this, Raw, what you just said and what you both are saying in reference to the federal, they didn't do well, they didn't prep well, they didn't prepare well, they didn't plan well. You're absolutely, I agree with you 100%. When it comes to those two gentlemen, maybe if you all have another segment on this, or maybe at another time have a conversation, I would really like to go head over heels with the whole alpha, if there's something there. If there's not, and things of that nature. I just think that I will say this, that there is a pecking order. There is an order. And even in all of the animal kingdom, they understand that there's an order and we're part of the animal kingdom. And so, yes, there's an alpha male. There are different types of males that are here for different things, and betas and gammas and all of that kind of stuff. They're listed, and I'm pretty sure everyone doesn't fit into every category. May have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but more of this, more of that. But the bottom line is that there is such a thing. Who are the beta male examples? Well, do we have them in this day and time? Good question.
Absolutely.
If you don't have them, then they don't exist.
I put it this way. I will say my father was definitely an alpha male. Definitely. And he didn't holler and scream and fuss and all that kind of stuff. He was when he spoke, that was it. It was understood. And there was, my mother and I, we would go back and forth and whatever. He didn't all of that stuff out in the street, acting like a pure D banshee and all that kind of stuff. He wasn't for that. Right. Acting, and my mother wasn't a banshee, but you understand what I'm saying? He wasn't about that. But whatever they discussed, they didn't even discuss it in front of me. They discussed that between themselves as two adults.
But by that measure, right?
Yes.
From the definition of what alphas are, every man cannot be an alpha because what happened?
Sometimes Christopher J, he's in a bad area, so sometimes he drops off.
Oh, okay. So
he said he'll be right back. I see it. I see his message. Go ahead, baby.
So by definition, the alpha male is the male that's on top. There can only be one king, right? I always wanted a brother just like you. There's only one king of the hill. So by definition, all these people that say they're alpha, it's not about how you carry yourself. It's not about your character. It's about who is on top. So where's the alpha males? I'll wait. Who's on top? As if we're going to go by y'all definition of alpha men, then Donald Trump is alpha. because he's on top. Everybody else is not.
One second, one second, TC. I'm gonna mute you for 1 second. So, a beta male is a cuck. That's what a beta male is. It's a prime example. Dakota and Sarai, supreme cuck, beta, conservative. Beta males and those who submit to males above them are beta males.
That's
Those
actually
who-
not the definition.
Huh?
That's actually not the definition of a beta male.
I'm not using the literal definition. I'm summarizing, and I'm also being salacious. It is like 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I can introduce a whole bunch of science behind it, but beta males are initially submissive to alphas. Beta males are supportive of alphas because beta males are seeking what it is that alphas project to have. Beta males in themselves. Oh, okay, so you want to pull definitions. Beta male generally refers to a man who is seen as more easygoing, cooperative, supportive, and emotionally intelligent, in contrast to the stereotypical alpha male who is assertive, dominant, and often seeks leadership. Absolutely. That's what beta males are. And I hate to use talking points that have been used all throughout this space, and even now that I'm finding out that they're spilling into the real world. A lot of these DMP conversations over the last 10 years, and a lot of what the feminists have been calling for is the rising and the promotion of beta males. They want more soft men. They want more emotionally intelligent men. They want beta is next alpha in line. They're supportive just like anyone else working in social. Absolutely correct, Prime. Beta males are seen as the weaker vessel of men because they are more than willing to be submissive to the alpha. The alpha is seen as aggressive.
No, that's not correct. Absolutely, none of these males are should be submissive.
I'm being salacious.
Oh,
yeah, I'm just being salacious.
He's cutting ass right now because it's time for bed.
I'm cutting ass. But hold on, I'm gonna mute you for 1 second. Then when I get done, I got you. So beta males. Wait. There we go. All right. Beta males are seen as the weaker vessel of the male hierarchy, and that's just that. Alpha males are the ones who sing that is stronger or more dominant or assertive. Okay, here. You know what? I'll break it down just like this, right? Beta males is the square nerd. Alpha male is the beta males is the square nerd. Alpha male is the Chad. Chad is the jock, the dominant, the strong guy, the loud, the bad boy, right? I'm being salacious. That's what alpha males are. And usually what happens is, not you trying to give me the thumbs down. Usually what happens is when it comes to Sigma men don't care who's the king on the hill, because the king on the hill does not affect them. The Sigmas are not affected by the politics of alphas and betas. Alphas are affected by the politics of Sigmas. I said that right? Alphas are affected by the politics of Sigmas, and betas go with the politics that the alphas are pushing because that is what they want. Not you throwing tomatoes at me. Go ahead. TC, go ahead. Go ahead. Beat your head.
I don't want to say that I'm enjoying this, but I am. I'm enjoying this. Okay. So here's the thing. I don't believe that any of the men are submissive to anyone. I think that there's a respect of territory. Number one, again, I have alpha males, beta males, gamma, omega, sigma, delta, and zeta males. So the Sigma males, they don't really care about I think everybody has a different way or definition of what's on top and what floats their boat. Like Donald Trump, his thing is to dominate, Elon Musk and everybody and all that. And some men don't give a daggone if they could have two hots in a cot, or if they could have a whole bunch of PUSSY, or if they could sit on their grandmama's, couch and play video games. That's that's them. They're not caring about what you do or what the others are doing. And some of them are just independent and don't really care. Now, some of them do roll in a pack. And some of them want to roll in a pack and be accepted and get some kind of semblance of acceptance. It's unfortunate, but there's some that are like that, you know. So you know what? But anyway, I do believe that they're alpha males, but you know, do we see them in this generation of X? I don't think so. I think that the alpha males are more. Did y'all just cut me off? What
He
y'all
playing
doing?
the
No,
game.
he's no,
Keep
because
going,
you
keep
gotta
going.
understand when you come over here, TC, they have problems. I'm gonna mute him. They're addicted to this stupid game. But continue.
Okay, but anyway, I'm just saying all of that to say that everybody has a different definition. All men don't feel like they're being on the top is, you know, certain things. Some people want to be on the top of women. Some people want to be on top of their game. Some people want to be on top of being a basketball, football, golf, lacrosse, whatever it is. Some people want to be on top of their education, their science, or whatever the case may be. Some people, whatever. All men, I think, have a different and some men don't really care about none of that. They just want to exist. And when I say exist, as long as they have food, clothing, water, and shelter, then they're on top. Honestly, that's about it.
Hold on 1 second, TC. Give me a second. Hold on. Let me take care of business real quick. Vignesh V. Who this?
Hi, who is this program of the discussion?
Okay, yep. I'm about to play these games tonight. Christopher J, what's going on? No, I don't know who that
I
is.
was about to say, yeah, lose your channel if you want to.
Yeah, like I'm not here to get my channel terminated. Like, watch this, y'all. Vignesh, what's going on?
What is topic of discussion of the channel?
The who?
What is the topic that
content?
we're discussing on the channel?
Yeah.
We're discussing the Cassie case, and now we're also talking about alpha males and beta males and sigma males. What's your thoughts on Cassie being civilly sued for giving someone an STD?
Okay, bye. Okay.
Thank you.
Stay.
New phone, who this? Listen.
He said, okay, bye. That's all. Y'all are mean, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of my friends in the Punjab state. All right, Habibis, we here. I see you. But in any event, you tried it.
Who tried it? No, y'all have not defeated my argument. I still have not heard.
Lawsuit. Y'all see it real time.
Divorce.
I am being a victim. Okay, I'm being coerced.
Divorced.
I'm being coerced right now.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Will.
Sure.
Right? Are most alpha males idiots?
Yes.
Okay.
Now see.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree, because the Stockman Rush, he wanted to consider himself an alpha male. If you saw the Titan, the Titan documentary on Netflix, I suggest everybody watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody around him said he was like man, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, that they're the big swinging dicks of the world, and I want to be a big swinging dick. And so
the reason that most alpha males are idiots is because alpha males are peacocking for the beta males, and they are also peacocking for the potentiality of mating with females. So alpha males are
What type of male do you consider yourself?
What type of male do I'm a sigma male. I don't care who's on. I don't care who is portraying themselves to be on top. The waves of the world does not affect me. I am a lone wolfer because I don't go along with the get along program. I'm not a follower, nor am I trying to lead anyone. I lead myself. And when it comes down to you, my wife, and my family, I do what is just and right for us, not for the world, because I understand something about the world that is not related to myself. The world itself, I'm sorry, one second. The world itself is attempting to peacock itself into a black hole, which will never find any type of conclusion. I myself, I don't care who the world said, oh, this person's on top, you should follow them. Why do I have to follow them? As a Sigma male, I'm a questioner. I can't just go along with anything, because unless I get deep detail or explanation as to why it is that I should be doing something, I'm more than likely not going to do something.
So
Just
I'm glad
people say it.
I'm glad Prime said what he said. It's all subjective to the environment. You're not going to be the same thing in every situation. And this is why I say the ideology behind people that break down men into specific types. You may consider yourself a Sigma male, right? But in the father-son dynamic, you're an alpha male and your son is a beta male. So in different environments, there is fluidity. So therefore, nobody is one thing. The way that you actually achieve Maslow's hierarchy of needs is being fluid in personality archetypes. So when people are sitting there and they're trying to label, at the point that you are at the top of the pyramid in your family, right? You're the alpha because you're at the top. But you're not an idiot where you're at the top of your family. Now, when you're in a group dynamic, group settings, you may want to slide into Sigma. Some men may want to slide into Omega. That's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not who they are all the time, because at some point they have to step into an alpha role. So like, it's a limited vantage point based off of a theory that is looking at group pack behavior. When we're talking about wolves that have some wolves that are strong enough to lead the way to forage into other territories, and some wolves that stay in the back, and the ones that stay in the back would be considered like a zeta male or a delta male, but they're really the strongest ones because they are protecting the whole pack from the danger that's coming behind. Like, it's a stupid archetype because most men, not saying you, let me be very clear, I'm not saying you, but most men in a hand-to-hand combat situation could not protect their families to the same capacity that a wolf would. How much bite pressure does a wolf have? A wolf will bite you in your throat and rip your throat out. Y'all not doing that, so stop comparing yourselves to wolves. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Okay, so the argument that you made from a woman's perspective, though it does have meaning, I will always be the first one. No, baby, don't twist your face. Don't twist your face up.
Good night. As soon as you said a woman's perspective, you lost me. Everybody, it has been a pleasure.
No.
Leon.
Okay, fine. That's fine. That's up to you. So the thing is, and I've been saying this from the beginning, men are stupid. We create these social constructs because in our position, we have to battle against these things. Now, to your point that you say I am a Sigma who is raising that my father would be a Sigma, then I would be an Alpha, my son would be a Beta. It is from my father's learning and my father's experience and his wisdom that I gained the ability to be able to grow into a Sigma. And my father is in his elden years. The wisdom that he has passed down onto me, and also the wisdom that I have come into while traveling the earth, has even has even grown me more within my existence as a Sigma. Baby, you saying so it is still fluid. You said you was going to bed. What happened? So yes, it is. Men are stupid. Who invented the wheel? Men invented the wheel. But I'm not saying that we are the pinnacle when it comes to this.
Good night, TC. Thank you for stopping by. We're not gonna stay up here much longer because we said we was going to bed.
Well, who the hell? Wait. Hold on. Pause. Dad.
Hey.
How may I be of assistance to you?
What's up, bro? Just got like a question, I guess.
Sure.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Dale.
Hey, Rob, you still up? Yeah. So what would you consider beta, deltas, all this stuff? what we consider mostly like the I guess we say our degenerate population, dudes who are thugs, dudes in the mob and stuff like that. What would we consider them? Because most of them dudes, in my opinion, they're not out. They're not strong men because they grew up on other people. They don't have their own opinions. They do everything to fit in. You know, anything like being a true self, they really don't do. They do what's, I guess, socially in is acceptable and whatnot. And also those females that deal with them, they kind of set the, I guess, kind of set the tone of the social structure, kind of in a way, for like both male and females. Because if you're not accepted by the women, you know, the women think you will. They just start labeling you something. Then the men just follow suit most of the time. So,
Okay, so
what do you
first I have to narrow down your question because you asked the question, then you answer it. So let me narrow down your question. So your question is, what would I consider, or what is my perception of the, I guess, the men of the world? Are you asking for like a percentage?
Well, not the men of the world, the class of men that are like the thugs, always in and out of prison, you know, ultra violent followers, don't have an opinion for themselves, and then we find out most of them these dudes be gay as hell and whatnot. Like, what would be
Well,
like? What would they be?
I'm on record saying that over 70% of these niggas is gay. I'm already on record for saying that, and I still stand by that because the majority.
I think I'm gonna have to agree with you with that, man.
Not you coming out here. Look, I can't look over that way. You know I got on reflective glasses. You ain't shit. Good night, baby. Love you. All right, so let me narrow down your question.
All right, bro.
Most of these dudes that go in and out of jail, most of these dudes who are it's hard to gauge that because one, I don't know them. Two, most of these guys are lost. Most men are lost, right? Because they don't have any identifying factors. This is why a lot of men are seeking out social groups or collectives or different types of I'll just stick with social groups. This is why a lot of men are seeking out social groups because they are lost. When it comes down to how to really label them, this is why the hierarchy exists, because you can find within the study and the research of the hierarchy, you can find where you fit and then you can elevate. The problem is that most men, when they do find themselves on this hierarchical ladder, they reject where it is that they fall. And let's just be honest, there is a class and a categorization of the existence of men. What society would tell you is that there is absolutely no way you will be accepted in the world unless you is this man. I'm not gonna say are, unless you is this man. So most men are trying to fit into that world. Or even when we want to go back to using the Matrix example, a lot of dudes are trying to fit into that world because they are seeking something. Some of these men, alphas, have already either attained or they're seeking to attain more, but they can only do so by targeting the sigma men. The beta males are the guys that's following behind the alpha male champions, or who they assume to be their champion, or who they are positioned to be their champion, and they are doing so on the backs and the support of the women that is supporting those alpha males as well. The sigma men are like, y'all got it. If the best way I can put it in an analogy is, this is the world, and the betas and the alphas exist within this world because they see the limitations of this world and they want to reach the pinnacle of this world, which would be the leather and the stitching of this world. The sigmas are, just using this as an example, the sigmas exist outside of this world. The sigmas only dibble and dabble in this world because we know that unfortunately we need to use what's in this world to gain the resources for us to have the survivability and to be able to strive on our own. Sigma males are doing like this. They are straying. What's going on, Taylor Bell? Sigma males are straying further and further away from the constructs of that and limitations that the world has. And that's only the limitations that the betas and the alphas can exist in, because within this world, they are seeking to be the top. That's why you have so many projecting alpha males, because they want to be seen as head nigga, or HNIC, the head nigga in charge. The beta males exist within the deeper core of this. They're trying to get to the outer core of this baseball, which is the world. And the ones who keep the world spinning, which is the men, but they're being supported by the women who actually want these guys, the Sigma males. The Sigma males is doing this. The alphas and the betas is still limited by the constructs of the world. That's the best way I can explain it.
But here's the thing. When you say, when anybody say Sigma, Gamma, now I hear Delta male. I would ask them, where does that derive from? If it all eventually leads back to The Wolf by L. David Meck, there is no such thing, because L. David Meck debunked his own research. Now, but like I said earlier, if you can find a way to divorce that from L. David Meck's book, The Wolf, I could take a step back and I'm like, outside of the fraternity alphas, but I can step back and say, okay, let's work with this definition. But as long as it's tied to the lone wolf, which derived from the debunked research by the author, there will never be a such thing as an alpha, beta, a delta, a gamma, a sigma, so on and so forth. There will be no such thing. I'm actually giving people the blueprint. Divorce that from L. David Meck, and you might have something to work with.
Well, you have to acknowledge that L. David, man, I'm only going by the summarization of what y'all give me. I have to go read it for myself. But going off just what I've heard so far, his research was only based on captive or domiciled wolves. Same thing can be said about rats in captivity. Same thing can be said about tigers in captivity. When you look at these animals that are in captivity, they are domesticated in more ways than one. When you look at domesticated males, or you look at dudes who grew up under the tutelage of those who are living in delusion, those who are living in poverty, those who are living in the mindset that they are always a victim, then of course your research is only going to be limited to just that function. And Christopher J, Omni, Dale, y'all are educated men. Y'all understand that when it comes to doing a test, you have to have a control. And when doing this test and you acknowledge the existence of the control, what is the control of L. David Meck's research? He had no control. The only thing that he had to test was a domesticated captive wolf. To go study the hierarchy of wolves, you have to go out into the wilderness and you have to see how they interact. In the wilderness, you see that there is indeed alpha wolves. They eat the most, they eat before everyone else, and they command the pack. The pack themselves follow the alpha wolf because the alpha wolf is the biggest and the strongest. The problem with this theory is that the alpha wolf eventually grows old. And once he grows old, he becomes an elder. And then the beta wolves, or the ones who is coming into their age group of becoming a alpha, then have to challenge the elder, or have to challenge each other. And there, the pecking order will be granted. Now, in the world of men, even as humans, we are still animalistic. In the world of men, because of infamy, and because of influence and social media itself, alpha males are labeling the beta males and are positioning themselves to target the sigmas. The sigmas themselves are focused on the mission, and the alpha males are focused on the sigma males, which is they're missing their own mission. The beta males can do nothing but sit back and champion the alpha males. In our world, in this social construct, there's always going to be a hierarchy, and to debunk L. David Meck's position on his research, you have to get away from the captive wolf.
Well, with that being stated, so that still proves my point. His research was based off of your words, which I agree, and I'm glad you used these words. Capture, docile, and there was another word you used, and it just slipped my mind. I'm pissed off that it did. That's where
Domesticated.
Domesticated, thank you. That's where the term lone wolf comes from, because there's an alpha and a captive, docile, and a domesticated environment. Whereas if you go to the real habitat, where the real wolves are, there is that alpha leader does not exist because they all move in packs. So, and there's some other things that he researched as well. I have the notes somewhere. I gotta go look it up. But that doesn't exist in the real habitat. I find it interesting that the alpha, we'll just stick with alpha, that beta, and all that stuff, it derives, so that we can put that to the side. Beta, sigma, put that to the side. I find it interesting that you say that, because now you're making me think. An alpha male that a lot of people claim to be, especially on this side of YouTube and Clubhouse, are always in some type of captive, docile, domestic situation. I didn't put that together until you just said that.
See, I wasn't intending to. When it comes down to my synapses is based on this and what I see in the world. Because of people's limited understanding of how the world works and how it is that they exist within the world, people limit themselves. He who does not know his own limitations is a very dangerous man, but he who limits himself to his limitations is a very docile man. As men, one does not want to be restricted. One does not want to be limited. But because of classification, because of classism, because of categorization, there are limitations on everyone to a degree. But the mind is where it's all at, where it all presides from. As a man at work, you are limited at work. You are limited in your home. You are limited in the world. But in your mind, if I say, Christopher J., you can't drink no water between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. every day, and every man must follow this law. That is the king's law. That is the word. And if you break it, you ain't shit. Are you going to not drink water?
No, I'm drinking water, especially after what happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I'm drinking water.
Okay, so if I say, Christopher J., if you drink water after all the other men has agreed not to drink water, then that means that you're a weak male. Are you a weak man because you chose to drink the water?
No, I'm not. But that's what I'm saying. Divorce that ideology from L. David Meck's original book. Now we got something to work with.
Absolutely. L. David Meck's research is based on the circumference of this ball, right? L. David Meck's research stops once you go outside the leather and the stitching of this ball. L. David Meck's research cannot exist outside of this ball, because of the fact that the only thing he researched was what made up this ball and what it is that he had under his control, which was which was the data that he was made prevalent to, only because it was there. But if you remove the ball and you now have to research the wilderness, you understand that when it comes to, I'm just speaking of the male behavior, when in the world, male behavior is unpredictable. But there is some control, even in pack mentality or herd mentality. Someone is the leader. And when you look at horses, horses are very wild, but there is indeed a lead horse. That lead horse, that stud, he commands the pack. Where he goes, they go. Where he lead, they follow. When you look at wild dogs, the same thing happens there. When you look at lions, lions is a very good example of this. But again, I say, and some men would disagree or be offended by what I say when I say that the wheelhouse of men, that we are stupid. Men are naturally dumb. Because most men limit themselves to only what's around in their environment. And because they don't want to expand their horizons, they only live within the limitations that they have. I'll give this example from a personal position. I was limited to a lot of things when I didn't have a lot of things. But if I would have lived within the construct and the limitations of this world tells me because I was not a man of this position or this stature, I should not want nor should I strive for certain things. I said to hell with that. Why do I have to? Just like when I went back to Detroit, I witnessed firsthand what happens when people limit themselves, and it depressed the shit out of me. Like, I'm not even about to hold you up. When I look out even into even into social media and I see what it is that people are focused, people are. That's why I said in my last stream, this Diddy trial exposed more about people than it did about Diddy, and that is something that people just cannot accept. What Diddy did and what he was accused of, though it was very exciting, very interesting at the time, cool. Now the world moves on. But the limitations of trying to be right or trying to be first is where people always will fall on their sword. But as a Sigma male, I don't tie myself to the constraints of, oh, I have to exist within this all the time. No, my mentality is I am a free thinker. My mentality is not locked into what everybody else thinks and or says. L. David makes research stops when you cannot see past the border. Omni, Dale, y'all free to jump in.
I don't know, man. It's always been a weird concept to me that, you know what I'm saying, men essentially make their decisions based off of what other men think. Like, that's always been weird. So I guess I would be the Sigma male if we're assuming that, you know, this is how the world works, right? Because it's always been weird that there are men that it's homo adjacent to me. It's homo adjacent that men essentially choose who they're going to mate with based off of how attractive they are to other men, or the criteria that other men have for women. This is why I recognize you being unique in the aspect of, you know, cellulite is a double entendre. You've always bigged up big women, and, you know, most dudes be talking about, oh, we only want the skinny women's. You know what I'm saying? I never understood that. I need meat on the bone personally, like cushion for the pushing, all of that. So I think it's just very weird. It's very weird. So I agree with the original thing that you said when you first came into the space. Most of these niggas is gay. I didn't at first, but I've seen too much at this point. Most of these dudes out here gay for real. Because when you on the internet, it's spot on. Most people, I could call people in my real life and they will call me Omni, etc. But most of these people come here to put on a persona that they don't actually resemble in real life. So when they come here, they get to be the self that they actually want to be. But societal pressures and whatnot don't allow them to be. So when they come here, and most of these niggas have like who they want to be are, you know what I'm saying, homo adjacent ass niggas. Like they very homosexual shit going on. A lot of these niggas have very homosexual imaginations. Hella descriptive.
You know, there was a conversation that I laugh about, and I did it to everybody, right? I had this conversation on, it was very funny when I did it, but I was being dead serious too. I had this conversation on Obsidian show. I had this conversation on Angry Man show. I had this conversation on Izzy show. I had this conversation on Fight Club. I had this conversation everywhere I go. Niggas like to say they don't like big girls, but I always prove this point. At 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, well, you know what? I'll take it back. 12 o'clock to 2 a.m. When you out there and you going through a dry spell, I guarantee you, majority of these dudes will hit up a big girl. And a lot of dudes tried to argue me. Y'all been here since I've been around. A lot of dudes tried to argue me on that. But then as the conversation goes on, yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Oh, okay, what are we talking about? See, the alpha male would say, well, I only like skinny women. I only like fit women. Okay, you only saying that because you don't want to be judged by other men for sleeping with big girls. Let's just be honest. You don't want to be judged. Thank you. So you don't want to be judged for sleeping with women who don't fit upon this scale of beauty. This, you know, that 1 to 10, right? And 10s rarely exist, but 10 is in the eye of the beholder, right? And most dudes don't want to be seen with a 1, a 2, or a 3. Most dudes will want to be, they want to be seen with an acceptable 4 to 6. And then you got these imaginative guys who want to be seen by everyone else with the 7s and the 8s and the 9s. But you know what they have to do? To big up themselves and to keep their ego in check, they have to check the 7s, the 8s, and the 9s. They feel like they have to dominate them. They feel like they have to put them down. So in doing so, they seem very aggressive. They seem very dominant. They seem very assertive. But the beta males is propping up Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit is out. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Go ahead, Dale.
What the hell I was gonna say? Now, with the big girl theory, yeah, most of these dudes can bust down anything they can get to, man. But like with the big girls, like most dudes, they want to. If she's big, she like they most want. At least she cute, look cute in the face. At least kind of have like a shape, kind of like woman shapely body. Cause you do have big girls that they're big, but they still like big in the right places and stuff like that. They're like real thick, but he just got a lot of extra weight and stuff like that.
Well, Dale, that's my point, right? Dudes don't want to be seen with a big girl, but they'll smash a big girl. They will do everything that they could and would with a big girl, but they don't want to be seen with a big girl. How that old analogy go? Everybody wants to be, drive a Ferrari, but they don't want to be seen riding a moped. To most of these guys, the big girl is the moped. They'll ride the moped at night as long as the street lights ain't on and ain't nobody outside. They'll ride that moped. If you're trying to get from point A to point B, guess what? Your feet hurt. You don't want to ride that moped, but you're going to ride that moped. But you don't want nobody to see you on that moped. You'd rather be seen in a Ferrari, right? Yeah. So the Ferrari analogy is supposed to be the 7s, the 8s, and the 9s. But at between 12 o'clock at night and 2 o'clock in the morning, when the club closed and all of the 7, the 8s, and the 9s is gone, guess what you're gonna go? Guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna jump on that moped. I'm just being honest. And the thing is, Dale, the thing is, dudes just start being more honest about it and just recognize it's okay. I don't care what other men say about me. I damn sure don't care what other women say about me. I don't care what my family says about me. Because what matters to me the most is my wife and my children. How do they feel about me? How do they look about me? And then, most of all, God. Am I a sinner? Hell yeah, I'm a sinner. Am I trying to be better? Yeah, I'm trying to be better. But I'm not going to limit myself. I went to church one time. I went to this one church and they told me that you're not supposed to move while the pastor is preaching. I said, well, who the hell made him God? Oh my God, I can't believe you said, well, I'm sorry. Where in the Bible does it say, oh, so you live by the Bible? No, but if you're going to judge me on the Bible, I'm going to question you on your antics that you're trying to impose on me using the Bible.
Unless y'all want me to piss in the corner, I'm going to the restroom.
You said what?
Unless y'all want me to piss in the corner, I'm going to the restroom.
Period. You see what I'm saying? The social constructs of this world confuse the hell out of me because y'all demonize men who choose to live their life the way they want to live their life, but y'all glorify niggas. How can I, if in this world which I see is gray and degenerative, the degenerative people get glorified the most by people who want to live their degeneracy through these niggas vicariously. That's literally what the limitations of this world is. Y'all see it? Tell me y'all don't see it all the time. That niggas get propped up the most.
Oh, facts.
Unfortunately, for some reason, yeah.
And who love the niggas? The women. But the women say they want men, but they love the niggas. But they settle for the they settle for the niggas and they want the men and they want the betas to back them up. They wish the alphas was more beta, but they also wish that when it comes to the women, they want to be seen with the Sigma man by other women. That's why I said the number one hater of women is women.
That is true. That is true. Women will lie to each other, put other women in circumstances that's unsafe for them, just for social or financial gain. I knew women were dangerous while I lived, but I didn't know how dangerous they were. As I got older, the more the more you learn how a lot of women get down, man. They don't care as long as they get their needs met. So, some of them, they don't care if you get killed or whatever. As long as they get what they want, they'll just use you and then act like nothing happened.
Right. But you know what though? And this is something that I've always said. And I know quite a few people is going to get upset or disagree with me when I say it, but my thing is this. As men, why are we focused on the women? That should not be our number one focus. The betterment and the evolvement of men, the evolution of men is creating better men. It's making the men better. Has absolutely nothing to do with the women. Our focus should not be the women. Are there grievances that need to be addressed and tackled when it comes to manhood and the evolution of men in a society where women are propped up? Absolutely. But look who's propping up these bad women. Because the bad women is targeting the good women. The good women is getting the good men. And the niggas is targeting the women that these men have. Because they want to be known as, oh, I fucked your bitch. As a husband and a Sigma man, I don't want to fuck your bitch because your bitch is probably fucking everybody else. When it comes to an alpha male, you may be the nigga with the number 2 headband for right now. But guess what? If the next nigga with the number 2 headband looks better than yours, that female that's propping you up about to go fuck him. My wife is not about to, bro, listen, I can be broke. And I'm not saying that I'm the richest nor am I the brokest, but listen, I have my wife. Nah, am I charged to sustain and be able to uplift and do for and be the charge for my family? Absolutely. But I'm not held to the constructs of the L. David. See, now I really got to. I gotta go read this damn book. L. David Meck. At the time when he wrote this book and with the research that he had available, especially with the controls that could have been there, L. David Meck didn't go deep enough. He didn't go deep enough. Anyway, y'all, it is 3:30 in the morning and Omni is making me mad because he looked like he's having fun on Make a Break. I am about to hit the bed. I appreciate y'all gentlemen coming up and having this conversation. Apparently, this is a conversation that we need to have at a deeper level. I do want to highlight Anton's comment right quick. Anton says, if I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants. Isaac Newton. Absolutely. L. David Meck's research would not fit Isaac Newton's statement. And Christopher J., I appreciate you saying that L. David Meck debunked his own self, but that's only because L. David Meck's knowledge and research was limited. Because of the existence of social media, we have a vast group that we can research and we can come to better conclusions. Anyway, y'all got anything final to say before we get up out of here?
Nah, I still got my luggage in the car. I'm about to head home and get some sleep.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. And I'm glad that you made it home safe, big dog.
I appreciate it, man.
Holla at you. Dale, what you got?
I want to say thank you for the conversation and stuff, man. Really appreciate stuff and stuff just like this. And I guess next time you have a show on it, I'll try to get in on it if I can.
Most definitely.
Have a good night.
Appreciate you. Hey, this has motivated me to do another episode of the Masculine Power Hour where we talk about the hierarchy of men. It seems that this is a discussion that needs to happen because it's very important. Omni, why you over there blazing through the skies? Give us a final before you get up out of here.
As always, read, niggas. This is a problem. I think like 90% of y'all problems would go away if y'all just read. Like, I don't understand why niggas don't want to read. I really don't.
It's the kryptonite.
Like, you would be able to be talking to some high caliber, good, upstanding women if your inbox game was above, kindergarten grammar. Like, you would be able to actually talk for yourself. I'm about to intercept these fools. All right, so that's it. Read.
Intercept them fools. What you doing, Mosh Mark?
Yup.
Man, I gotta get back into it. I'm so irritated by the fact that he took.
Oh, he's got a sword. Wait a minute.
Hey man, I'm about to jump on, dog. I'll see you in a minute. All right, appreciate y'all. The number one thing is to leave that dope alone. Holla at you.
Leave that dope alone.
You haven't.
He need to leave that dope alone. 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 He need to 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 leave that dope alone. 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 Leave that dope alone.